Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a public hearing of the Newark Central Planning Board under the Open Public Hearing Act of 1973, also known as the Sunshine Law. In accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, Section 5, adequate notice of the hearing has been provided by notifying the Newark Star Ledger and Jersey Journal newspapers. Also, the schedule of regular hearings and conferences of the Newark Central Planning Board has been posted on the designated bulletin board in the basement of City Hall and filed in the office of the city clerk during January 2025. In addition to adequate notice under the Open Public Meetings Act, electronic notice of this remote public meeting, as is permitted under NJSA 1049.3, was placed on the City of Newark website. Members of the public can make public comments by audio or by audio and video as permitted by the Zoom electronic communication platform. Now, while in this Zoom meeting, press on raise hand on the bottom left corner of the computer screen or mobile device. Raise hand allows participants to notify the host that they would like to speak without interrupting them. If you are calling in, press star 9 on your telephone to raise your hand. The Central Planning Board will be mindful of the number of items on the agenda and will move as expeditiously as possible to complete the agenda. However, due to the amount of development requiring board review and the complexity of projects, it may not be possible to hear every item if the meeting runs later than 11 p.m. In the event that the agenda is not completed by 11 tonight, the board will finish hearing the applications that are in the process of listening to, but no new application will be called after that item is complete. Any applications that were not heard by that time will be rescheduled to the earliest available date, which will be announced on the record if possible. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Member Jordan.
Here.
Member Timmons.
Here.
Member Da Silva.
Present.
Member James.
Here.
Member Austin.
Here.
Co-Chair Witcher.
Here.
Chair Richardson.
Here. Let's move to CPB 24-30, which is 854 Clinton Avenue, and this is a extension.
Chair,
Yes,
may I interrupt?
absolutely.
I'm looking at a message in the chat and it says that Ryan Santos Cirque is recording. Should there be another party recording the meeting, or is?
Who is that person? Do we even know who it is?
That was rejected at the beginning of the meeting. So we're not recording. The invitation to record it was not everyone.
Was denied?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move to CPB 24-30. Are the applicants available?
Attorney for this application is Dominic Gianarella. You can raise your hand, please, at this moment.
Not there?
No, Chair.
Okay, let's move to CPB 25-45, which is 324-326 North 12th Street. Naomi Velez. Mr. Velozzi.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought you were calling someone else.
Yeah, I was.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Noemi Velozzi on behalf of CPB 25-45. Mr. Chairman, we are requesting an adjournment. There was an adjoining border on this. I believe it's Bloomfield that we needed to notify the property owners, and we were not able to do that on time. So we need to adjourn this one.
Madam Secretary, what's the next available date?
November 3rd.
November 3rd, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we'll see you then on this application. And let's move to CPB 25-30, which is 526-530 Springfield Avenue. Mr. Veloz.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Noemi Velosi on behalf of CPB 25-30 for the property at 526-530 Springfield Ave. And I'm just looking to see if my team is here. I see Mr. Fernandez. I'm also waiting for Mr. McDonough. Mr. Chairman, if we can have Mr. Fernandez sworn in.
Mr. Beck.
Good evening, Mr. Fernandez. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
Jorge Fernandez, Fernandes, registered architect, business address 75 Parkhurst Street, Newark, New Jersey, and project architect. My license is current and in effect.
And you're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you.
Mr. Fernandez, have you reviewed the engineering report dated September 16th?
Yes,
Can we comply with all the conditions?
that is correct.
Okay. Have you looked at the water and sewer memo?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and we can comply with all those conditions?
We can, yes.
Okay, and what about the planner's report, Mr. Fernandez?
I looked at the planner's report, and then I would like to offer some testimony and to some items that have been requested. I'll go over those as I'm describing the plans, I believe.
All right, well, if you could take us through your testimony, please.
Thank you. So these are the plans that were submitted to the board for 526 530 Springfield Avenue. We are proposing a mixed-use, multifamily and commercial building on a corner parcel that's fronting predominantly on Springfield Avenue, but slightly on South 10th Street and then on 18th Avenue. It is flanked in this case, to the west by some two-story mixed-use commercial residential buildings that are existing. And we are looking to develop effectively the whole parcel and to be able to keep with the fabric of this block, which is predominantly mixed use commercial on the bottom and residential above. And we are trying to comply with that. We have our frontage predominantly on Springfield Avenue. Both the entrance for the commercial space as well as the entrance to the lobby of the building will be from Springfield Avenue. The site is a bit undersized for the requirement. We got 2,174 square feet, and as the site plan shows, it's irregular in shape. So we've tried to comply with the requirements of the zoning ordinance as much as possible. But of course, there are some constraints given to the nature of the site.
Excuse me, Mr. Hernandez. Pardon me.
Yes.
Chair, we failed to read into the record the application and the applicant information as well as the variances that are being sought this evening. You're muted, Chair. You're muted, Chair.
I thought I did read CPB 25-30, 526-530 Springfield Avenue. And they usually get to the variances as they go through the presentation.
So we don't read into the record the variances that are being sought.
I mean, we can. Please do. Go ahead.
Um, Okay, so the time is 6:11 p.m. The application number is CPB 25-30, located at 526-530 Springfield Avenue, block 314, lot 9 in the South Ward. The applicant is CDN Development LLC, and the attorney for the applicant is Mr. Noemia Velozzi. In the C2 zone, the applicant proposes the construction of a 4-story mixed-use building consisting of a commercial space and 1 residential unit on the ground floor, with 6 residential units above. Applicant is seeking 10C variances for insufficient lot area, insufficient front yard setback, secondary, exceeding maximum lot coverage by building, exceeding maximum impervious lot coverage, insufficient building front facade transparency times 4, insufficient ground floor requirements, and insufficient on-site landscaping. Site plan approval is required.
Well, thank you. Please.
Mr. Chairman, I would just note, I believe that there also is insufficient minimum lot width, which is existing, but it's a variance as well.
Thank you. Please continue, Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you. And as the variances were stated, some have to do with the nature of the site and the lot width, being that on the frontage here on South 10th Street, I'm going to call this the corner intersection between Springfield Avenue and 18th Avenue. Our site is only 5.37 feet in width. That is a existing condition and it cannot be changed. So we try to plan this building in the way that as I mentioned before, the entrances are predominantly on Springfield Avenue, where you have an entrance for a store area that is roughly 750 square feet of commercial space. We currently don't have a tenant to come in here. I believe as the construction goes along, if this project will be approved, tenants will show up and try to rent the space. We try to bring that space into closest to the intersection because it is the commercial space. The lobby area we have further into the property where we have a little bit more space to incorporate stairs as well as trash area. And we have a 1-bedroom apartment located on this ground floor because this building will not be serviced by an elevator. The only handicap accessible apartment will be this 1-bedroom on the ground floor. Again, we went over the entire property, and we will be able to provide the 2 micro-mobility spaces, in this case bicycle spaces, in this area here off of the lobby. And we have 2 stairs that give access to the floors above. I'll go into the floor plans. We'll start with the first floor plan in more detail. Here we have the 1-bedroom apartment, which is with windows facing South 18th Street. And it is a 1-bedroom kitchen, handicap accessible bathroom, and its own laundry closet behind the stairs. And this is 700 square feet for a 1-bedroom unit. The store shown here on the corner, we try to incorporate as much glazing as possible, fronting on Springfield Avenue. We incorporated some windows on South 18th Street, but given the shape and the and size of this commercial space, we believe that having windows to the low windows on both sides would impede the occupant to include shelving in this plan. If somebody, a small bodega or some kind of commercial store would open here, they would have a hard time placing their merchandise. So that's why we've opted to have high windows on the South 18th Street side. I'm going to call this the back, with Springfield Avenue being the front. and that is why we also have some variances with regards to the active ground floor height and the and glazing on that ground floor. Of course, we have the windows for the bedroom, double window, and double window for the living area of that one bedroom apartment. And we have stairs and bathroom, laundry closets, all spaces that really cannot have window. Below this first floor plan, we're going to have a storage area as well as a laundry area and mechanical area. The laundry will be for the tenants above, which are not handicapped because the building's only handicap units on the first floor, and that one has its own laundry. This crawl space here is uninhabitable, and this is due to the proximity of the neighboring building and the shallowness of their basement. We are unable to have a full height basement on this side of the building. The second floor plan and third and fourth floor plan are effectively similar. They have two bedroom apartments. One's 1,000 square feet. The other's 1,000 square feet. Apartments. These apartments have kitchen, bathroom, and a master bedroom with its own bathroom and living area. We've tried to open as much windows as possible in the living spaces, in the bedrooms. I mean, we have bedroom with windows on both sides here, and to be able to bring enough light and air into the living spaces. Again, we have the two stairs that give access to the floors above. What we have here is a 7 dwelling unit building that we are proposing on 4 floors. We do have a space on the roof that is effectively a half a floor. We have some storage that can be used also by the tenants. They could each rent one of these storage cubicles. This is a feature that this developer has done in other buildings in the city that he's offered to his tenants. The other front of the building, if you will, on the corner is going to be effectively just a rooftop. It's not going to be built up. So as you can see here from my elevations, we have the Springfield Avenue elevation where towards the corner we only have a 4-foot high parapet, but then towards the interior property we have a 10-foot high space here that effectively it's 52 feet in height from the ground level, and it can be called the 5th floor of this building, but it is not a full floor. It is only the half of the floor plate. The materials are brick masonry on the ground floor with glass on Springfield Avenue. We have also glazing in the upper floors, and we have composite panels on the details on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and 5th floors of this building. The same on 18th Avenue, the same kind of material, as this is also a front. And here are the high windows that we are proposing in order to clear some wall space for the user of the commercial space to be able to place some shelving. The units are going to have PTAC units. That's why we are showing the grills underneath the windows. So each of the apartments has its PTACs that will provide heat and cooling for the interior environment. We are asking for some glazing variances. I believe 30% on Springfield Avenue, where 40% will be required, and 15% on 18th Avenue, where 35% will be required. But we are providing double window with fixed light in each living space, each bedroom. Some bedrooms have two, and I believe we're adequately lighting each of these living spaces. And I also have a rendering that is showing the masonry and the composite panels on the upper floors. And we're showing here, of course, the corner intersection of Springfield Avenue, South 18th, and 10th Street. We're going to have some marquee style awnings over the entries of both the store and the lobby, and those, I believe, will project to 2 feet into the right of way, and they'll be hung from the building. I'm open to any questions from the board or professionals regarding this project.
Commissioners, questions or comments?
I have a question, but I also.
Co-chair with you.
Okay. Mr. Fernandez, on the roof, are the storage spaces the only thing that are activated? Is that other space just dead space? What's going on up there?
Yeah, the other space is just rooftop. I believe the owner wants to install some solar panels there, and for maintenance access, purely for maintenance access.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, next witness.
Mr.
Question.
Trump,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have some clarifications, questions,
Okay.
if I may.
Yes, Ms. Gruhl, let me swear you in.
Yes,
So we'll get that out of the way for the evening.
yes,
Good evening. Do you solemnly swear to tell the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Susan Gruhl with Higher Gruhl and Associates. We're the planning consultants to the planning board.
Thank you.
I just wanted to follow up on a couple of our clarifications questions regarding our memo dated September 11th of this year. So you're suggesting or you're saying that the testimony that it is 52, the floor heights and the building height is 52 feet? Is that what I heard?
That is
In your
correct.
testimony? Okay. And you're saying that it's 4.5 stories? 5
I
stories?
mean, I would call it 4.5 stories, but given the ordinance, it's
Yes,
I would
it's
imagine
5 stories, right? Yes, clarifying that. Okay. And then you do comply with the ADA standards?
Yes, we do, by the having
Okay.
the unit on the ground.
Fine. And there are certain comments that we made regarding information that was not on the plans. I assume that you will comply with all of our comments with respect to that?
That is correct.
Okay, good. And I don't need to go through all that. Let's see. One other question that I had. Okay, you have the HVAC with the PTAC. Okay, if you comply with everything else that we have in our memo, then those are my comments, questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Trafficante,
Yes, sir.
get him sworn in, Mr. Beck.
Good evening, Mr. Travacante. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please briefly identify yourself.
Name is Charles Trafficante. I am a principal engineer and a professional engineer. I'm an employment of the City of Newark, Department of Engineering. My license is active and in good standing with the State Board.
And you're accepted by the board. Please continue, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Fernandez, first, for clarity, it's the attorney referenced the report. I think he mentioned the September 16th report. For clarity, the report to the board I have is dated September 15th, 2025. Is that what you have?
That's what I have, correct?
Okay, so it is September 15th, just for the record. Second question, on page 2 of the report, under item 1, general, Roman numeral 4, survey shows existing overhead electric utility line running over the subject lot to a bodega located within a public right-of-way for Springfield Avenue to the south. Applicant and property owner of subject lot 9 shall provide testimony to the board as to what approval easements exist when subject lot 9 for the benefit of adjoining lots for either overhead or underground utility lines. Should no approvals exist, engineering department recommends to the board the applicant and property owner be required to provide additional testimony to the board as to the future disposition of any existing overhead utility lines that cross over the subject lot, should the board approve this application. Can you answer that, Mr.
Yes. Yes, that power line will have to be removed. The owner has experience working with BSE&G in similar instances in the past where power lines are going through his property. He'll work with them to be able to get that removed.
Are there any known utility easements, either overhead or underground, through the subject property?
None were shown on the survey.
All right. So those lines are to be removed, fair to say?
Correct.
All right. Second question, again, page 2, item 1, general, Roman numeral 6. Survey shows an existing concrete wall that crosses over the common property line between subject lot 9, block 314, and adjoining lot 8 located to the west. Applicant property owner of subject lot 9 shall provide testimony to the board as to what approvals easements exist when subject lot 9 for the benefit of adjoining lot 8, block 314, to allow this existing concrete wall to remain where and as it is. Should no approvals easements exist, engineering department recommends to the board the applicant provide additional testimony to the board as to the future disposition of this existing concrete wall encroachment, should the board approve this application. Can you address that existing concrete wall, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes. I believe that's the one on 18th Avenue. It's
It
slightly protruding
yeah.
into our property at that corner. Yes, that will obviously have to be, I would say, partially removed, at least the parcel that's within the property for us to be able to build our foundation. So yeah, it will have to work with the neighbor on that.
And are there any known easements for within the subject lot 9 for the benefit of adjoining lot 8?
None are described.
Okay, all right. And lastly, your rendering shows awnings extending into the public right of way. It looks like it's just on Springfield Ave. Are
Yes.
there any projecting onto 18th Avenue right away or just on Springfield?
Just on Springfield.
And you say they encroach into public right of way? That's a county road. I don't know if you got approvals from the county yet, or if you need to. For
I
that.
believe, yes, we will be procuring approvals from the county.
All right. All right. Otherwise, you can comply with all the remaining comments in the engineer's report to the planning board dated September 15th, 2025.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I want to recognize Commissioner Baez is here. And next, any questions? Any other questions? Board? Hearing none. Next witness.
Mr. Chairman, if we can have Mr. McDonough sworn in.
Mr. Beck.
Good evening, Mr. McDonough. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and your affiliation to this application.
My name is John McDonough. My affiliation to the project is as project planner. And my license is current and in good standing.
You accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. McDonough, you reviewed the planner's report as well as all the other documents on this project, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Can you please take us through your presentation?
sure thing. As always, Ms. Greer was given the board on page 10 of 14 of her report dated September 11th, 2025. The 11 variances that the applicant is seeking relief on. For the most part, there's an element of hardship here. We're dealing with practical difficulties with an irregular shaped piece of property. But there's also an element of the benefits outweighing the detriments to the extent that we are repurposing and revitalizing a vacant lot. And just to underscore that point from a practical standpoint, Mr. Chairman, I have a 3-part exhibit.
Mr. McDonough, we have not submitted that exhibit yet, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, if we can have this marked as Exhibit A for us.
Okay,
So Exhibit A1 for the record, obviously, we've outlined the subject property in yellow. There are distinct challenges right off the bat as we're at the convergence of 18th Avenue and Springfield Avenue. We've got a regular shaped piece of property, again, with the convergence of these two roadways. It's an undersized lot, so right off the bat, we have practical difficulties related to the size of the land and to the shape of the land, which is triggering a lot of the hardship relief that the applicant, I think, is justified in receiving here. Just to show, again, towards that benefits versus detriments test, this view on page number 2 of page A1 is a view of what the subject property looks like. It's a vacant lot. This should be a corner that accentuates the corner, and the exact opposite is happening there now. So we have an applicant that is ready, willing, and able to repurpose and revitalize this key location, this prominent location in the community. Likewise, this is what you see on the other side over on 18th. So from a planning standpoint, our applicant has done a good job here of respecting your C2 zoning parameters in terms of the overall use that's being proposed here, being permitted in the zone, the overall building height, the density. Those key indicators are being met. In terms of the positive and the negative criteria, clearly this is going to achieve a positive aesthetic here. That's purpose I of the land use law. Purpose M of the land use law is our planning goal for efficient use of land. And purpose A is the promotion of the general welfare with new housing stock to replenish the older housing stock here. And of course, it's a mixed use development, so you get the combination of both service uses and housing as well. In terms of the relief that the applicant is seeking, just running down the list on Ms. Gruel's report, first lot area, 2,174 being what's existing, 3,500 being what's required. Again, it's an existing condition, and obviously there's no additional land to cure that deficiency. Likewise, the lot width tapers down to 5.37, where a minimum of 35 would be required. The same hardship, practical difficulty relief. The next relief relates to the building coverage of 80%, 100%, where 80% would be the maximum allowed. Likewise, the impervious lot coverage being 100%, where 85% would be the maximum allowed. I think you can see here that lot coverage is consistent with the overall neighborhood pattern. We've got buildings that are built to the edge that cover the sites and are really, this is going to continue the pattern that's there and sort of complete the overall block as it presently exists. You've got insufficient ground level facade transparency. Actually, number 6, number 7, number 8, and number 9 all pertain to architecture, which Mr. Fernandez addressed in terms of the facade transparency. Number 10 relates to the buffering. There is no buffering proposed here, but again, the consistency with the neighborhood, 0 lot line build-outs, we think is more in keeping with the neighborhood pattern than establishing a buffer here, which would really serve no practical planning purpose. And then finally, there's relief for foot candle level limits, again, in the interest of balancing safe illumination, avoiding excessive glare at a key location. We think the applicant has struck that balance as well. So all said, we think in terms of the balancing, this lands squarely on the positive side. The relief, notwithstanding the length of the relief, the 11 variances will have minimal, if any, impact at this location. So I think the board can move favorably on this application, meeting the criteria under both C1 hardship or C2 balancing. To pass the test, either one needs to be met, not both. But this application happens to be double strong because it does hit both C1 and C2. That's all I have on direct.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, questions or comments? Hearing none. Are there any questions or comments from the public?
Motion to approve the application.
Second.
Moved by Co-Chair Richard, second by Commissioner Purdy. Roll call.
James.
Secretary.
James.
James, sorry.
Member Jordan,
Yes.
Member Timmons,
Yes.
Member Da Silva,
Yes.
Member James,
Yes.
Member Austin,
Yes.
Co-Chair Witcher,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, application has been approved. Good luck.
Sorry, Chair, you didn't call me, but my board is yes. Commissioner Myers.
You came in late, that's why.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Baez, were you on the online for the whole application? Because you weren't present when we did roll call.
I wasn't, but I listened to it for almost half a way, so,
So halfway doesn't count, sir.
all right. So, just
And
tell
I
me,
want to recognize Commissioner Roundtree and Purdy. And yeah, you have to be here for the entire application in order to vote, Commissioner Baez.
so I stayed there in that case, in that one.
You're good on the next one.
Excuse me.
Ms. Purdy?
No, I didn't receive a notice today. I just knew the date, but I didn't see I get no agenda or nothing.
Well, we got a new crew, so Carissa and others are not there, so it might be, just a slight mix-up. I'm sure it won't happen again, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
City website, it can always be accessed on the city website as well, commissioners.
Did we do roll call? Application. Okay.
Yes.
Next application. Here's what we are. We have another adjournment, and I want to call them up. CBB 25-08, which is 350 Bloomfield Avenue, and that's Ms. Carrillo Perez.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jennifer Carrillo Perez of Camel Foley on behalf of Gold Dome Investments LLC. We are scheduled to be presented this evening and are requesting an adjournment of the application. We have just received some additional information with respect to some clarifications required from the Department of Engineering and need some time to provide a response to that.
How much time do you need?
The next available date, I think we can get to this rather quickly.
I think that's November 3rd. Is that still the case, Madam Secretary?
Yes.
Okay, November 3rd.
Perfect. I'd like to preserve notice if possible.
Yes, you can reserve your notice, and we will see you November 3rd on this application.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
You got it. All right, thank you. Let's move back to the top of the order, which is number 4 on the agenda, and that's CPB 25-33, 250-252 Orange Street. Ms. Moore. And Madam Secretary, feel free to read all the variances into the record.
Okay, the time is now 6:40 p.m. The next application is CPV 25-33, located at 250-252 Orange Street, block 2853, lot 35 in the Central Ward. The applicant is 134-138 Sussex Ave LLC. The attorney for this application is Ms. Marsha Moore. In the Broad Street Station redevelopment zone, Subdistrict B, the applicant proposes to construct a new 6-story multifamily residential building with 65 residential units, residential tenant amenities, along with associated site improvements. Applicant is seeking 2 C variances for insufficient ground floor height and insufficient building facade transparency. Site plan approval is required. This application was adjourned from the August 4th, 2025 meeting.
And good
Thank you,
evening.
Madam Good evening. Go
evening,
ahead, Ms. Moore.
Good evening. Marcia Moore from the law firm of Post Pog on behalf of the applicant. And again, good evening to all the professionals. Just before I begin, noted is that this application was on the August 4th meeting, and at that time, we were proposing 65 residential units. The applicant has revised its plans. This project's proposing 55 units. Those plans were submitted more than 10 days prior to the hearing date, which has been reviewed by your planner and I believe by Department of Engineering. So this is a 6-story building. We are seeking the certain variances that's noted, the ground floor height, shade trees, and your planner has also identified what we believe is a de minimis variance respect to the building height, which our professionals will be noting. These lots previously included 2 lots. It was lots 35 and 36. They have been subsequently merged and are identified as lot 35. And you're here tonight, I believe that is what is triggering that height variance that we're 1 foot over the required permitted height in the redevelopment plan. Before I begin, I just want to acknowledge receipt of certain reports. We are in receipt of the engineering department report dated July 31st, 2025. We're also in receipt of the July 29th, 2025 water and sewer report. We have no objections to the engineering report. Mr. Trafficante has asked us to elicit certain testimony, which we're prepared to do so tonight. And we will be complying with the lighting, despite that my understanding, the redevelopment plan does not have any regulations regarding the lighting, but we will be providing the lighting reference in the report. And last but not least, I am in a report from your planner dated September 15, 2025. I should note that the applicant will be complying with the IZO, which is that there will be 20% affordable on-site units as part of this project. And Ms. Groves also asked us to elicit certain testimony, which we're prepared to do tonight. My first witness will be Christopher Westcott, followed by our planner, Thomas Ritchie, who will be addressing the requested variances that we're seeking. We also have our civil engineer, should the board have any specific questions, but the main witness will be Mr. Westcott tonight.
Good evening.
Get him sworn in, Mr. Beck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Westcott, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board should be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
Sure. My name is Chris Westcott. I'm an associate at Inglis Architecture and Engineering located at 632 Pompton Avenue in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. I'm a registered architect in the state of New Jersey, and my license is current and in good standing.
And have you testified this board or any similar board capacity of a registered architect?
That's correct. This board, the zoning board of German, and other boards within the state.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you.
So Ms. Westcott,
Sure.
go ahead.
No,
You're familiar with the plans, correct?
Correct. We prepared the plans for this project, the civil drawings, as well as the architectural drawings for the project.
Okay. Can you just walk through the board, this proposed project? If you can just start with the existing site conditions.
Sure. Going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see them. And if there's an issue, just feel free to let me know. So starting off with the existing conditions on site, one of the things that's noted in the engineering report is that the existing conditions shown here are prior to demolition, which has happened more recently on site. There were originally 2 buildings on one of the subject properties. I believe 35 is the lot that these are on. And lot 36 was already under demolition at the time of creating the survey. But at this point, the lot is entirely cleared and is available for future construction. Going from there, through our demolition drawings, we show what would be demolished. Going through that, the proposed site plan for the new construction is shown as such. I'll go through the civil drawings first, and then I'll go back and provide testimony on the architectural plans. So working through the civil drawings, we show where the utilities come in on the site, where the sanitary goes out, and where the utilities are coming in generally along the site plan. One thing you'll note is that we currently show 3 street trees. One of the comments as part of the planner's report is that 4 street trees would be required. One issue we ran into here is that based on the distance from the corner and the spacing that's required based on the requirements of the city, we felt it was not applicable to include one additional street tree too close to the corner. As part of this application, we would either be willing to meet with the arborist and discuss the possibility of banking the street tree, or potentially moving an additional street tree within the site in a location that works with our current building layout, including the transformer room, which is the one point of contention here.
But I just want to address that.
Sure,
We said
okay.
we'll meet with the arborist, but we are asking for that relief for that shade tree. Is that correct?
We are asking for that relief. That's correct. We would prefer to have that relief and have a street tree spacing that's a little more typical with the city's requirements. But if it's required, we would be able to find a space along this frontage to include the tree. However, the tree would not be on Orange Street. It would only be, we would propose that it be put on Nesbitt Street. Moving forward from here, we show our proposed drainage area of the property versus the existing drainage area of the property. And we show where our utilities connect in, which is generally along Orange Street, where there was a previous water main extension, as well as the existing locations where the water and gas come in, or water lines come in with the gas coming across Nesbitt at the corner. We show our soil erosion plans, as well as where our proposed location is for our storm detention basin underneath the building. Our lighting and landscaping plan, the front of the property generally is on a lot line building. The rear of the building, we've set back from the property line a minimum of 5 feet, where windows are on the first floor of the building. There's a section of the building which is adjacent to the neighboring property, in this case also owned by the same developer. And one thing that's potentially looking to happen is the attachment of these buildings together to allow the use of the amenities between each building. There would be a fire rated door on each side of here that would require key fob access from either side, and that could be closed off by the owner of each property should the properties be subdivided at some point. But the current intent would be that you would have access from one building to the other to allow use to the amenities within the neighboring property of 270 Orange Street, or the Zen Garden within this property. Here's our specifications on lights as proposed in the plans, and some civil details. Going from there to the architectural plans, you'll see the first floor of this building, which has water room and sprinkler room, the residential lobby, and the package room, all fronting along Orange Street as you turn the corner onto Nesbitt. As you further go down Nesbitt, you'll see the transformer room and the start of residential units at the end of the building on Nesbitt Street before you turn down the side yard of the building. You'll see one office space specified here. The current intent of that office is that it would be used by the residents, similar to what a co-working space would be. Along the rear of the building, you'll see two bedroom apartments. In the front of the building, there's 2 1-bedrooms and a studio. Generally, the breakdown along the property is that the first floor has 5 units, and then the upper 5 floors of the building, so 6 stories total, have 10 units. So you end up with 55 units based on that. Within the center of the building is the Zen Garden, which will be accessed from that corridor within the building, and bike storage accessed from the residential corridor on the other side, facing the residents on the ground floor.
I just want to go back
Sure.
before that Zen Garden is also a tenant amenity space. Is that correct?
That's correct. So going from there, within the center of the building, you have an egress stair which goes all the way up to the roof in order to allow access to a proposed roof terrace on top of the roof, as well as the elevator R1, which will also go to the roof for the same access. In the lobby, you have your mail room, or you have your mail area across the long wall, and your package room set back, hidden behind where the mailboxes would be. Trash compactor room is on the ground floor with a roll-up gate that will allow access directly to the exterior. Trash will be picked up along by a private hauler from Nesbitt Street as per the requirements of the building, and as on a frequency as required to keep the building in a sanitary shape. The trash room on the ground floor has access for the 5 units that face there in order to allow access due to the fact that you don't have a trash chute because you're not on the floors above, so it's in its own separate room. Going up to the upper floors, the stair and elevator are in the same core on the northern part of the property. An elevator lobby that connects you to the main corridor. On the southern portion, there's the other stair that allows you to have 2 means of egress from the building. Residences in here typically are studios 1s and 2s. In all cases, they would have energy efficient lighting fixtures, ADA accessible or adaptable bathrooms and kitchens. All units have washers and dryers in them and water heaters that are individualized per unit. Heating and cooling is provided within the units through wall air conditioners, typical throughout all the windows. The intent here is that the window and louver system for the window would hide the air conditioners behind them rather than having anything exposed to the outside. So it would from the outside, you would see essentially a larger window condition that would include the louver for the heating and cooling. So going up to the next floor, going up to the next floor is the 3rd floor, which is the same layout as the 2nd. 4th floor is also the same layout. 5th floor and 6th floor are also the same layout. The only variance between these floors is that on the 2nd floor and the 6th floor, we have janitor's closets, and on the upper floors, we may end up being required to have telecom closets in there in lieu of that, but we'll decide that based on the requirements of Verizon or whoever we'll have on the property. On top of this entire building is a roof terrace. It's under 750 square feet, which means that it only requires to have 1 means of egress. However, we will still be providing elevator access to the roof and the stair access down as well. Not shown on here, but will be part of this design will be a railing which goes around the full exterior of the terrace, set back from the roof edge so it's not visible from the street until you're at a distance from the building. The railings on this roof will generally be modern in nature and either will be a picket railing or will be a aluminum craft cable railing. However, that final design has not been provided in this package.
Mr. Chris, before you move on from that terrace, one of the comments from Ms. Crewell, I know you mentioned the railing, but what if any type of amenities would be on that rooftop?
So other than the terrace, which will be furnished with tables and chairs and furniture in general, the rest of the roof area is intended to be a location for potential future solar photovoltaic systems on the roof. At this time, the proposal is to include conduit to the roof for future installation. However, the owner may elect to do it in addition to the construction of the project.
Right, and that kind of goes towards the design, the sustainability elements. I know you mentioned high energy efficient appliances, but it also goes towards the green and sustainability. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Moving on to the facades of the building, both facades here are at the corner of Orange and Nesbitt. It's turned so you see the full-on face of each side of the building as you turn the corner. So both of these can be considered part of the same set of elevations as you'd see them from the street. I'll show a rendering of the front of the building later. However, of note is that this building is adjacent to the neighboring project of Arbor 1. This being the same developer as Arbor 1 intends to have a design language that matches between both buildings. Arbor 1 is further up the street and 5 stories. This building at Arbor 2 is further down the street, which is approximately 5 to 6 feet lower in grade. And the building is approximately 5 feet taller from the neighboring property. One thing that Marcia had mentioned earlier is that one of the requests here is an increase in the building height. And that's essentially related to the fact that we're on the corner of a lot, or a corner lot that straddled between 2 properties. And one of those properties being in the Baxter Nesbitt redevelopment zone, the other lot being within the Orange Street retail redevelopment zone. The Nesbitt one having a required height of a maximum height of 70 feet, the Orange Street retail corridor having a maximum height of 65 feet. When we were designing the building, we had proposed 66 feet, assuming the allowance of the Baxter Nesbitt redevelopment zone. However, when the lots were merged, it was only included within the Orange Street redevelopment zone. Generally, the building materials match their neighbor down the street. Longboard or wood look siding on this corner as you see it. And again, I'll pull up the renderings in a moment. Metal panel cladding, generally white or metallic in appearance on a majority of the facade of the building. As you get down to the ground floor, you'll notice that there's black metal cladding and a dark gray cornice around the building, which matches the intent of the property next door. There will be brick finish along the ground, likely a thin brick that matches the aesthetic of the ones next door, as well as a metal band along the top of the building that, rather than providing a cornice out, provides a modern cornice that's set in. With that in mind, I'll switch over to the presentation package with the renderings. So this is further down Orange Street looking at the building. You'll note the height difference between the buildings, but the general matching of aesthetics between both of them. The Arbol 2 sign set out from the facade, but in a material that matches the rest of the facade. The same visual aesthetic of having inset panel sections which are of different color than the generally white looking / metallic samples that are along the facade of the building to create some rhythm or breaking up the rhythm of the building. And the wood cladding, the Italian walnut along the corner as a capstone from the other corner to this corner, essentially bookending the entire street. This other rendering is imagined as if the building on the corner wasn't there, to give a little better of a view between both properties, showing the same aesthetic as the other. Of note is just that the cornices or the canopies as you go down the street slowly continue to lower themselves until you meet the corner of Arbol 2. Going back to the presentation package, along the side and rear of the property are a more standardized facade. Still the same panel cladding along that rear facade of the building. However, in a more rhythmic pattern and something that is a little more consistent between the facade elements, which matches the rear of the facades of the neighboring property as well. More elevations would show the same along smaller portions of the facade. And then the last page of this package, which is the exterior signage. One item which was mentioned previously that was of interest to the owner was actually providing the project name along the stair tower that's set back from the facade from the street facade approximately 10 to 15 feet. The intent here would be to have the wall-mounted signage backlit, so not face-lit, but backlit towards the facade of the building, and letters of a size that you can see them from the streets as you come by looking at the property, kind of as a separation between Arbol 1 and Arbol 2, but also as a flagship to show both the properties together. And with that, I've completed my presentation, but if there's any questions you may have, just let me know.
So I just have one or some follow-up questions on some of the variances. Respect to that signage, I think the redevelopment plan doesn't call out any sign requirements, so we're not seeking relief. But one of the comments, both in the planner's report, that we are asking for the transparency, you to provide some testimony on that, even providing a lot of glazing, we are seeking some relief on that transparency.
That's correct. So in relation to transparency, due to the fact of the additional water meter and sprinkler room along the Orange Street side of the property, and the requirements of having a transformer room on site facing the street based on the requirements of PSC&G, those sections of facade are essentially it wouldn't be a good idea to have glazing along those fronts of the property. So typically we enclose those based on the requirements of PSC&G of having a fire rated enclosure on all 6 sides. So reduction of glass along that part of the frontage is requested. As you go down Nesbitt Street, there are there's one residence which faces the corner, and in that space too, That is the space that is for the private residence of an individual, and it would be proposed to reduce the amount of glazing along that frontage. So what you're left with is along the corner of Nesbitt and Orange, you have a fair amount of glazing which is visible from the corner. However, as you move away from the corner, the utilities there and the units dictate the reduction of glazing.
And on those long lines, we are seeking respect to the ground floor height of the building. You just discuss what that's required, what proposing, and then the justification why we are unable. No, we have our planner, but just want to provide some
course.
testimony on that.
So as part of the proposed building design, we were trying to straddle the difference between being in Baxter Nesbitt, which allows for 70 foot of height, and the Orange Street retail corridor being the neighboring property at 65 feet of height. And so this was essentially a meeting of the middle between the two requirements, where if we were following fully Baxter Nesbitt, we could potentially do 16 foot for the first floor. However, that would bring up to 70 feet. And if we were on the other end of it in Orange, we would be at we're over by 1 foot. So what we were hoping to do is reduce the height of the first floor while still giving 9 foot clear floor to floor within the residential spaces, and potentially bringing that up to 10 foot in the lobby. And on the upper floors, maintaining 9 feet of height as well for each of those floors. That allows us to have a building that's 66 feet instead of 70 feet, and still achieves the aesthetic goal we were looking to have for this project.
Okay. But I know you mentioned respect to the height, it's 1 foot over the height requirement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We were just, I wanted, if you go back on the side and the rear yard,
Sure.
both Mr. Trafficante as well as Ms. Gruel asked us to provide testimony. I know you mentioned it when you were doing your site plan, but I just wanted to identify that, whether or not we need a side and rear yard setback because of the location of the building.
Understood. So I'll pull up a plan to hopefully describe this a little bit better. I'll keep on the second floor for now for reference, knowing that on the first floor along the facade of the building is built out to the lot line. So essentially, the building next door at 270 Orange Street is a lot line building as well, with the ground floor of that building, which has no windows currently along the property line, and the residential units above set back 5 feet from the property line on that property as well. And so the windows which are visible from, or the windows which are on 270 Orange Street, while they face our property, they're 5 feet back from the property line. If I understand it correctly, the way that the zoning ordinance requires it is that it's a required 3 foot setback where there's a window or a door along the property line. Whereas here there is no window or door along the property line other than the proposed door, which connects between both properties. And that's a proposed amenity between both spaces and it doesn't currently exist and would only exist as part of this approval.
All right, thank you. And then last but not least, we mentioned that we'll agree to comply with the water and sewer report. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you also had an opportunity to review the Department of Engineer memorandum dated July 31st, 2025.
Yes.
With the exception of the shade tree variance that we've identified, we can agree to comply.
That's correct.
Okay. And then one last question, Mr. Trafficante referenced on page 3 on an adjacent property that's not part of this project, whether or not we're providing a demolition. We're nowhere near a lot 1.01 on this application. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. I have no further questions.
Mr. Trafficante.
Do I need to be sworn?
No, floor is yours. You're sworn already.
Thank you. Mr. Westcott,
Good
I
evening.
know you gave testimony earlier, but you went through it pretty quick, so I'm going to ask for clarification.
Understood.
All right. On page 3 of the Department of Engineers report to the Central Planning Board dated July 31st, under dimensional site plan, item 5, dimensional site plan, Roman numeral 7. Applicant shall provide testimony to the board as to the existence of any ingress, egress easement for pedestrian traffic within adjoining lots 32 and or lot 80 located to the north, in order to provide a means for exit from entrance to the proposed doorway located at the northwest corner of the proposed Zen garden. where it says on the site plan, fire rated access to 270 Orange Street. Should none exist, applicant property owner shall provide additional testimony to the board as to how they intend to provide access from to the proposed doorway located at the northwest corner of the proposed Zen garden, especially in the event of a fire. Now, I believe the applicant owns this property as well as the adjoining lot. Is that correct? 270 Orange Street is theirs as well?
That's correct.
Okay. In the future, should one of the lots be sold, would there be some kind of provision made? Maintain
So-
access?
The way that we would propose access to this door is that first I'll mention that this door would not be required for any sort of fire egress from the building lines. All egress from both properties are adequately satisfied by the property itself. This door is merely a means of ease of access rather than going outside in the inclement weather. The intent of these doors would basically be, and the way that code allows you to do it is that you would have a door which matches the fire rating of the wall. So you'd have a 3-hour door on either side, on both sides of the wall, with access from both sides being dictated by the inside of that lot line itself. And so if one of the properties were sold and the other one was kept and it was determined that this should be closed, one side of it would be able to lock the door, close the entire opening, and there wouldn't be a reduction in fire rating because the wall itself and the door that replaces that wall are both fire rated to the same level. So that's the way that the code allows you to have access from two different lot lines, not from a public right of way.
And this is not a required egress for fire?
It is not, no.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, with the exception of the shade trees, you can comply with all the other comments in the Department of Engineering's report to the board dated July 31st, 2025?
Correct.
All right, thank you. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Chair, Ms. Gruhl has her hands up.
Oh, okay, yes, Ms. Gruhl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just two quick things. You'll provide recycling where recycling would be, the facilities for that, I assume?
That's correct. All floors will have recycling bins located on them, which will be handled by the building management team.
Okay, great. And then we asked for you to provide an up-to-date survey. Is that something that you would do, or can you testify to that? I know there's been changes to that.
My understanding, and Marcia can correct me, but the owner will comply with that and provide an updated survey.
That's fine, except the condition of approval, Ms. Gruhl.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Board, any questions or comments? Hearing none. Next witness.
At this time, I'd like to call our planner, Thomas Ricci.
Good evening.
Okay.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Ricci. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation for this application.
Name is Thomas Ricci. Last name is spelled R-I-C-C-I. I am the project planner. I'm a planner with Stonefield Engineering and Design. Our office is located at 92 Park Ave, Rutherford, New Jersey.
And have you testified, Mr. Ricci, can you just state your educational background, license, if any you hold?
Sure. Licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, nationally certified by the American Institute of Certified Planners. I have been accepted as an expert witness in the field of professional planning on numerous occasions in front of this board and many other boards throughout the state of New Jersey. My licenses and certification are active and in good standing.
Chair would ask that you accept him as a licensed professional planner.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
So, Mr. Ricci, you've heard testimony by Mr. Westcott. Kind of give us an overview of the architectural and the civil component. If you could just talk about the planning before us and the variances that we're seeking.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you've heard, there's an application for a 6-story, 55-unit multifamily apartment building. One of the things that we noticed on both the survey and during my site visits is that this property is currently vacant. It's undeveloped. It's been vacant for a couple of years now. I know that the structures were somewhat recently demolished, but formerly they were developed. There was a couple residential buildings and a mixed-use building. They were in pretty poor condition. Based on going back in Google Street View, I had noticed that they were vacant probably for 5 or 10 years. They were boarded up, just in disrepair. So one of the things with this project is hopefully to turn around the property for a better use. That's also in line with the redevelopment plan. So this property is located in the Broad Street Station redevelopment area, particularly Subdistrict B, where residential buildings are permitted. So we're not seeking any D variances or use variances as part of this approval tonight. You've heard from Chris the C variance relief that we're seeking with regards. So I will keep it brief because I think he has justified them very nicely. But with regards to the building height and also the ground floor height, I think the interesting thing is the building height is a maximum requirement, but the ground floor is a minimum. And as he mentioned, he wanted to achieve that 9-foot floor to ceiling heights for the residential units. But we also tried to keep the ground floor height as small as possible to help respect the zoning, and really, the math comes out to the 66 feet. So it is a de minimis increase, but I think for good reason in this particular application. We have the side setback variance. Now, the code doesn't actually require a side yard setback unless you encroach on within against another building that has windows or doors. As Chris had actually mentioned, the ground floors of the adjacent building that this applicant also owns touch, but then as you actually get up to that next story where there are residential windows to the next door building, you have greater than a 3-foot separation. So the code requires 3 foot, and Chris mentioned there's actually a 5-foot separation there. So I think we're in line with the intent. I think it's just the ground floor that actually touches that with regard to the setback. The building transparency, I'm sure as this board knows, is a pretty tough requirement to meet. We've been here, we've requested this quite a few times. I think as Chris had mentioned, we don't have a commercial component on this project where you would normally have large retail windows or displays. It's a residential building, and you do have some mechanical rooms towards the front. So really, it's tough to actually achieve that. But what you do is have, as you mentioned, a design that really is consistent with the adjacent building and is almost an extension of that property. Shade trees, Chris once again had mentioned, 4 is required, 3 is what's proposed. We meet the requirements on the Nesbitt Street frontage, but the Orange Street frontage is much smaller. It's close to the corner. There's poles in the right of way. It's tough to actually comply with that. But I think in one way to mitigate it, they were going to work it out with the Shade Tree Commission or contribute to the fund. And that really sums up the C variance relief. While it feels like we do have a bit of a list in terms of the total number of relief items, in my opinion, they are all pretty minor, either in terms of being, let's say, just outside of the zoning requirement, like, for example, the height, or in terms of not really being feasible to comply with, something like the trees. So nothing here, in my planning opinion, that rises to the level of substantial impact. I think this is a project that is very aligned with what the Broad Street redevelopment plan wants to see for this lot. This has been a plan that was adopted in 2008 and is still active for the neighborhood today. It's been the whole goal of that plan is to encourage transit-oriented development, particularly in proximity to the Broad Street Station. Broad Street Station is a very transit-rich area. This property is within walking distance to that station, which offers commuter rail. It offers light rail service and a bunch of bus options in the area. Broad Street Station, I know, is a very important commuter rail line, especially going into Midtown Manhattan. I know that I've taken that train many times myself. And then you have that light rail component, which connects to Newark Penn and other areas of Newark. So I think this is a really important property as it pertains to the plan and the proximity of the station. And I think it aligns with a lot of the specific goals, like increasing the downtown residential population, increasing housing production, promoting an image of safety, and enhancing pedestrian connections to and from the Broad Street Station. So I think we really hit the nail on the head with TOD goals in here. And I think for all of those reasons, the benefits of this project as a whole substantially outweigh the potential detriments of the variances, which, as I mentioned, they're very, very minor. Some triggered, as a technicality. So I think that C2 test is definitely met here under the municipal land use law. That's what I have for direct, but happy to take questions.
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Ricci.
You're welcome.
Commissioners, questions or comments for the planner? Hearing none. Next witness.
That concludes my presentation, Chair.
In that case, Madam Secretary, are there any questions or comments from the public?
No, there are no raised hands, Chair.
In that case, I need a motion.
Move it.
Move in the chair.
Moved by Commissioner Purdy, second by Commissioner Baez. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Member Jordan,
Yes.
Member Purdy,
Yes.
Member Baez,
Yes.
Member Timmons,
Yes.
Member Da Silva,
Yes.
Member Scott Roundtree,
Yes.
Member James,
Absent.
Member Austin,
Yes.
Co-Chair Witcher,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, your application has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to number 5, which is CPB 25-02, 291-297 South Orange Avenue, and Ms. Carrillo Perez.
Good evening. Just want to make sure, Madam Secretary, that my professionals are in. Mr. Roma, Mr. Brian Grant, and I know John McDonough's on, so. Perfect. Yeah. If I can proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Great. Good evening, Jennifer Carrillo Perez of Camel Foley on behalf of Community Planning and Housing Development, who's the owner of the property at 291, 297 South Orange Avenue. The application is before you this evening for preliminary and final site plan approval for the construction of a new 6-story mixed-use building that will contain 45 residential units comprised of studios, 1-bedrooms, and 2-bedroom units, resident amenity space, community space, and approximately 3,800 square feet of retail commercial space. There is also a green roof component. This property is located in the C2 community commercial zone, and there are variances that are being requested in connection to this project. Maximum side yard setback, rear yard setback, impervious lot coverage by building, and minimum ground floor height. Your board planner has also identified an additional variance regarding fencing material. And as you will hear during the course of the testimony of this application, that the variances related to the insufficient minimum ground floor height and the fencing material will be addressed, and therefore no variance relief will be required with respect to that. So we are eliminating those 2 variances. There are also some waivers that were identified by the Department of Engineering. As I indicated previously, this is a 6-story building, and with that, there are some conditional use standards with respect to the mixed-use buildings that must be satisfied that include a green roof and as well as outdoor amenity space. And this project not only meets that, but we actually exceed the standards. There were plans that were sent, revised plans that were submitted to this board prior to the 10-day, so we met that threshold. And we will, during the course of this hearing, walk you through that as well. We have received, and I think it's noted as in your planner's report, that this project actually received approvals from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Very similar project with minor modifications, but the zoning has since changed and now this board holds jurisdiction. So with that, I'd just like, for housekeeping purposes, that we did supply your board secretary with the affidavit of notice, providing this board jurisdiction to proceed. And we have 3 witnesses. Mr. Daniel Roma from Artec is our project architect. Brian Grant from Grant Engineering is our civil engineer, and Mr. McDonough will be providing planning testimony. And we have received reports from the Department of Engineering and an updated planner's report dated September 16th from your planner. So with that, I'd like to ask Mr. Roma to be sworn in, please.
Okay, let's go to Madam Secretary. You want to read everything into the record?
Yes, the time is now 7:21 p.m. The next application on tonight's agenda is CPB 25-02, located at 291-297 South Orange Avenue, block 1778, lots 31 and 35 in the West Ward. The applicant is Community Planning and Housing Dev Corp. The attorney for this application is Ms. Jennifer Carrillo Perez. In the C2 zone, the applicant proposes to merge lots and construct a new 6-story mixed-use building with retail/commercial spaces on the ground floor, a community room, and 45 residential apartments on the 2nd through 6th floors. Applicant is seeking 4C variances for insufficient rear yard setback, exceeding maximum side yard setback, exceeding maximum impervious lot coverage, and exceeding maximum impervious lot coverage by building. Site plan approval is required. This application was adjourned from the July 7th, 2025 hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Perez, you may continue.
Thank you, and I apologize. I believe I just gave my intro. I'm asking for Mr. Roma to be sworn,
Yes.
please.
Mr. Beck.
Good evening, Mr. Roma. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
My name is Daniel Angel Roma. I'm the licensed architect for Artec Studio LLC, and my license is current.
And you're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you. We are at 291-297 South Orange Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, and the idea is to build a new building with a 6-story first floor commercial and 45 apartments above. The property, let me share.
Please. Thank you.
My plans.
And Mr. Roma, these are the plans that were submitted to the city and the board, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
As you can see, our property is located in a C2 district, community commercial, where is a mixed-use building is a permitted use. Where we planning to do is do a mixed-use building on the first floor. We are going to have 4 stores. Each of these stores, the biggest one will be 1,128 square feet. Then we have a 916, 904, and 899 for a total of 2,847 square feet. These are the stores that will face South Orange Avenue. The main entrance of the building will be on the left, a vestibule, a lobby area with an elevator and stairs. If we go, yes.
I'm just sorry. You had indicated the square footage and that there will be 4 commercial spaces. For the purposes of the record, and I think as questioned by the planner, no operators have been identified for any of that space. Is that correct?
That's correct. We don't know who's going to be renting these units yet.
Okay, and we will simply stipulate to the record, Mr. Chairman, that the applicant acknowledges that there are permitted uses in the area, and they certainly will pursue the permitted uses and will have them comply with city ordinances with respect to operations and hours. But we have not yet identified any operators or potential tenants for that space.
The total gross area of the first floor is 8,180 square feet. As I said before, from the lobby, we can go on elevator and go up to the apartments, or we can go around. We have on the first floor an outdoor patio, 490 square feet. To the back, we have a management office, storage, and private office for the owner. Also, the refuse and recycling room, and a community room, 466 square feet of a place where the tenants can have the birthday parties and meet and reunions or whatever they want to do. But also on this floor, we have the storage and refuse area for the entire building. If we go to the basement, we have a basement. A total basement is the total basement is 1,686 square feet. On the basement, we have the laundry area. On the laundry area, we have 11 washers and 9 double dryers. Each laundry unit is 30 pounds, and the dryers are the same. It's a double stackable dryers that we're proposing. If we go now,
Mr. Roma, if you can
yeah.
just go back, there's additional bicycle storage. I just wanted to highlight with respect to the basement. Do we know the number of spaces there are for the bicycle storage?
We are proposing 10 bikes.
10 bikes. Okay, thank you. And
yes, we'll be able to do. And then also we have the electric meter room and the gas and sprinkler meter room and a maintenance office for the building.
Great. And back to the first floor that you had just provided some testimony on, you indicated lobby, there's a mail room, management offices. There's also a refuse and garbage area. Can you just clarify that will be utilized for the residential or the commercial tenants, or both?
That will be for both. We have two. We can be using for the stores. The one that is to the front, this one, store refuse room. This will be recycling and garbage. And for the 45 units, we have in the back the recycling and refuse area.
Perfect. So there'll be two separate spaces, one for the retail and one for the residential, correct?
That's correct.
All right, great. Thank you. You can proceed.
Okay, now let's go to the 9 apartments. We have a total of 9 apartments where one of those apartments is a 2-bedroom and 1 efficiency, and the other 7 are a 1-bedroom apartment. The 2-bedroom apartment you are seeing here is 1,008 square feet. You have the entrance, U-shaped kitchen with an open concept with a dining and living area. Then through the corridor, we have a handicap bathroom and 2 bedrooms. One bedroom is 13 feet 8 inches by 9.4, and the other is 10.10 by 9.4 also. This is the 2-bedroom for a total of 1,008. If we go to the 1-bedroom, they are going from the 667 square feet to the 750. On the 1-bedroom, you have a U-shaped kitchen, also open concept kitchen with a dining and living room. The bedroom is 10.1 by 11.8 with a closet and a handicap bathroom and some mechanical room. This is a typical 1-bedroom apartment. As I said, goes from 66 to 750. And then we have an efficiency. The efficiency is a total of 666 square feet. You come in, you have a kitchen along the corridor, full bathroom, and a sleeping area that is connected with these doors, and have an opening to the living and dining area.
And Mr. Roma, that's a typical floor plan. You had indicated 9 apartments. Is that 9 apartments per floor from floors 2 through 6?
Yes, there are 9 apartments per floor. There is a total of 5 floors of apartments for the 45 units. And then we have a different size, but will be 7 one-bedroom apartments, 1 studio, and 1 two-bedroom.
Okay, thank you.
Now we can go to the on the roof. We're going to have a grass and a canopy where we're going to have a garden roof. One of the things that is required for this building is that the usable space on the roof, 65% it has to be used as a green area. And that's what we're doing on the roof. From the 6,898 square feet that is the roof available, 65% is a green area. Then another 35%, 2,414, is going to be used for amenities. We comply with the 100 square feet per dwelling that is required. It's required 4,500 square feet, and we are having an outdoor patio, the one that I show on the first floor, that is 490 square feet. Then the roof amenity area, this garden roof area, is 2,414, and the balconies. I'm going to go back to the apartments. Every apartment has a balcony. The total square feet of all the balconies of the units is 1,805. That give us a total of 4,709 square feet of amenities. Here is the front facade. We are having 3 different materials. We have brick, Endicott manganese iron stop brick, color gray, on the right side. On the left side, where is the entrance of the building, we're using corrugated metal, color light brown. And on top also we have a corrugated metal, color gray. You can see here on the picture of how this new building will look like. As I said, we have 4 stores on the first floor and the entrance to the left.
And Mr. Roma, you had demonstrated just on this page, I'm seeing the signage that was being proposed. While we don't have any, we've identified spaces for signage, and that will be, we understand signage has to be 10% of the wall associated with the tenant space, and we will agree to comply with that, correct?
Yes, the basically signs that we're going to have is the name of the building, 291, 297, and this is the name. And then each store will have a sign on the canopy in front of each store.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, this is some of the. This is one of the side elevation, the one to the right, and as you can see, we are having balconies on every apartment. Let me go back to the apartments, and I will show you. You see, each apartment. I'm showing here from the back. These apartments from the living room, they go to the balcony. Each balcony has the square foot. This is 61 square feet of balcony, is approximately 20 24 feet by 3 feet. This is 57, 38. And every unit will have their own balcony to have some space outside.
And Mr. Roma, to your knowledge, this applicant will comply with the IZO, understanding that it's part of the ordinance and 20% of the units will be set aside. Is that your understanding?
Yes, will be.
And as well, if you can just confirm that there will be some green building or sustainability and resiliency standards that are being incorporated in this project design, this building design?
Yes, so will be done.
Perfect. And you've had an opportunity to review the reports that were issued by the city and the board professionals, correct?
Yes.
And as it relates to those items that are architectural in nature, do you find any issues with complying and making the requisite revisions to the plans that were noted therein?
No, and one of the things that you were saying before is one of the variants was the height of the building, and we're going to modify that to comply, and instead of 13 feet 6 inches will be 14 feet first floor.
Great.
And the fence will be changed to approval material.
Thank you.
And here is a picture of the looks of our new building, a 6-story building.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roma. I have no additional questions for Mr. Roma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's Mr. Trafficante? Oh, there he is. Mr. Trafficante, floor is yours, sir. You're
Thank
still
you,
on
sir. Thank you. One quick question, Mr. Roma.
Sure.
Good evening.
Good
You
evening.
show a common laundry room. Is there any way you could put those units in the apartments themselves? A stackable washer dryer unit in each apartment?
My client has a couple of these big buildings, and he will prefer to have the washer and dryers all together, and that's why he asked us to put it in the basement. There is an elevator that goes all the way back to the basement, and he will prefer if we can have the laundry room separate.
And are you proposing any canopies or balconies that project in the public right of way? Well, technically, it's South Orange Avenue is Essex County, so it's really at their discretion. But the question still stands: are there any proposed balconies or canopies that extend into the public right of way?
No balconies. No.
How about canopies?
Probably we can see. 1 second. Let me.
Really, it's at the discretion of Essex County, but I just thought I'd ask the question.
Yeah, we have some canopies on top of each store and on the main entrance. If we need to go to the county, we probably try
All right.
to speak with them.
All right, but you are aware you do have to get approval from Essex County Planning Board since this fronts a county road,
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gruhl.
Yes, one quick question regarding transparency on the west facade. I gather, if you would just provide that and just make sure that there is no variance necessary.
Yeah.
That's the only question.
Well, we're going to comply.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, Commissioner, Board, any questions or comments for the architect? I just have one. Since they're not putting laundry rooms in each unit and it's a separate laundry room in the basement, is it going to be paid laundry, or the tenant's going to have to pay to do their laundry, pay the superintendent to do their laundry?
I'm gonna have to check with that if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. I'll ask the applicant because I don't have that answer, and then I hopefully will get a response by the end of Mr. Grant's testimony.
Hopefully you're correct.
Thank
All right. Next witness.
you. Mr. Brian Grant.
Good evening, Mr. Grant. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
Brian Grant, we're the site civil engineers for the applicant.
Your license is current, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Great. Mr. Grant, your company has prepared the plans that were submitted as part of this application. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And if you can take through the share screen, provide the board an overview with the proposed site conditions with the site improvements. Sorry.
Okay. If Daniel, you'll stop your share for a sec. There you go. So we have a site that's facing South Orange Avenue. The lot size is 9,320 square feet. The site itself lies between South 6th Street and Littleton Avenue. The lot's in a regular lot that has, roughly a 96.83 length on the west side, 97.96 length on the east side. The back is 86.61 feet, and the front is 106.37 feet. The entire site will be cleared. The sidewalk and the adjacent curb will be demolished and reconstructed as part of the demolition and reconstruction project for this demolition and reconstruction for the site. With respect to what's being proposed, the building takes up roughly 88% of the site. The architect has gone into the ground floor uses. What we've done from a site standpoint is added to the amenities. You have a roughly 4,700 square feet of a public amenity space, of residential amenity space on the roof. You have a community room on the ground floor. We've supplemented that amenity space with a roughly 490 square foot permeable pavia patio. And we've surrounded that patio with about 20 plantings. We've got a couple maple trees. We've got a couple of kins, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we have 16 arborvitaes that surround the patio. Again, this is supplements the rooftop amenity space and the ground floor community room for the residential use. With respect to setbacks on the west side, the rear yard setback, we have 3.3. The building steps back to mirror the alignment of the west side of the lot. So we have 3.3 in the back, and it steps back to where then we have 3 feet as we move towards South Orange Avenue. And then by the time we get to South Orange Avenue along that western elevation, we're right on the property line. With respect to the front of the site, most of the building is recessed with the exception of an area in front of the stairway, which has, if I could just point that out, this area right here, which has a 0-foot setback. So that's in keeping with the ordinance. So we're not requesting a variance for front yard setback. With respect to the eastern side of the site, the rear of the site, we have roughly a 5-foot sidewalk on the eastern side that goes from the rear of the site to the front. We have a 4-foot setback on that side, and then the sidewalk kind of comes straight along the building to allow for emergency egress along the eastern elevation to the front. There's an existing easement on the site, which that easement will be maintained and formalized between the adjacent property as well as this current property owner. moving to just some lighting and landscaping to give the board a sense of what we are doing. So what we propose is we have a board-on-board fence, as Ms. Perez alluded to. We are changing that from a vinyl board-on-board to a wooden board-on-board fence to get rid of that variance. We're also proposing along the eastern side of the property a 5-foot-high ornamental iron fence, which will run along the eastern border of the property. I've already discussed the plantings. With respect to lighting, essentially what we have from a lighting standpoint is simply exterior wall-mounted lights. So we have lights on the, let me just pull that up. We have lights on the eastern facade of the property that about 8 feet, wall-mounted exterior lights at about 8 feet below above grade. We have lights on the western facade at the pervious paver courtyard that's roughly 7 feet above grade. And then along the front of the building, we do have another 3 wall-mounted exterior lights that light the sidewalk for pedestrian safety and circulation. That's about 7 feet above grade. So that's what we're looking at from a lighting standpoint. From a grading and
I'm sorry, Mr. Grant, just for the record, we're going to comply and make sure we satisfy the city requirements with respect to the lighting, correct?
yes.
Thank you.
From a grading and utility standpoint, South Orange is a really busy street from a utility standpoint. We have 30-inch high-pressure water main, 24-inch high-pressure water main. So basically, we have 3 water mains, all of them over 24 inches. We've got an 8-inch gas main, a 6-inch gas main. So our intent is to weave our way through the gas mains, and what we have is an 8-inch ductile iron stormwater outfall that will store the stormwater runoff from the building, store it in the basement in a stormwater vault, and there will be an emergency, 2 emergency hatches to give us access to that stormwater vault. And the water from the stormwater storage vault will be slowly released and go into a combined sewer, the existing combined sewer on South Orange Avenue. Even though the sewer is combined, we're required to separate storm and sanitary. So what we've done is we provided a 6-inch sanitary sewer on your left right here, which connects on a separate connection point to the combined sewer. And lastly, subject to final review and sizing by the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer, what we've preliminarily provided is a 4-inch water line and a 4-inch gas line. The exact location where we will connect will be determined in conjunction with water and sewer as a condition of approval. And then lastly, we'll have a gas line that either ties into the 6-inch gas main or the 8-inch gas main as required by PSCNG. With respect to the board engineers, so that really summarizes the site plan. I mean, we have 88% building coverage. We have roughly 95% lot coverage. But as you see, the increased lot coverage is primarily due to emergency egress sidewalk on the east side and us wanting to provide additional amenity space at the ground level on the west side. So let's go. So we'll jump to the board engineer's letter. Just highlighted some issues as you said, Ms. Perez. We will comply with the comments in the board engineer's letter. There are some items that the board engineer wanted us to discuss, and I'll just move this off the screen and keep you on the site plan. So they want us to provide testimony with respect to the easement, and as I said, the easement will remain. We're not proposing to extinguish the easement. We will formalize that easement, and that will remain. That's number 2, Roman numeral 11. Item 2, Roman numeral 12. The board engineer wanted us to give some testimony regarding the disposition of the fence to the north of the site. The portion of the fence that encroaches onto the property will be removed. As you see here, in the clouded section of the site plan, we're proposing to remove that fence. The rest of it, that's obviously not on the property, will remain. And then the board engineer, section 3, Roman numeral 1, wanted us to speak to the shade trees. As you can see, we're not providing any on-street shade trees, primarily because we have a lot of utilities, not only in the street, as I've previously mentioned, but we have an electric underground utility on the sidewalk, and then we have telephone underground vault on the sidewalk. So there's really no space for us to locate trees. So what we've agreed to, or what we stipulated on the site plan rather, is that we would provide a contribution for 3 shade trees to the Shade Tree Commission in order to address that the shade tree requirement. And that concludes my testimony, Ms. Perez.
Correct. Yes, thank you. I believe you indicated the only question I think I had was about landscaping. You addressed that in the encroachment as well. So I think we're fine. Thank you so much, Mr. Grant. I have no additional questions.
Okay.
Commissioners, questions or comments? Co-chair, I'm sorry. Commissioner Jordan.
Good evening. What do you anticipate the development to commence? When do you anticipate the development to commence construction? And what is the length of the construction time?
So I would say that the client is looking to move forward. A lot of the time is out of our control by virtue of review for compliance, as well as permitting. So I can speak to, it'll take approximately 18 to 24 months to construct the building once we have the permits. But we unfortunately don't control that process. We wish we had better estimates, but we don't.
Commissioner Jordan.
So do you expect more delays? I mean, South Orange Avenue, there's always talk about development on South Orange Avenue, and you know, it somehow it just doesn't seem to work out. I mean, the project looks wonderful, but
I know.
you know, coming before the board and asking for extension after extension after extension, it doesn't help.
No, I understand. And again, I think we're prepared to move forward. It's just a matter of, getting compliance review and then permitting and I apologize. Yeah, permitting. And in some instances, it can take 3 to 6 months to get compliance review from some of the boards. And that's not a criticism. It just means the city is very busy, and which is a good thing. But I can appreciate your concern, and we certainly would hope to move quickly on this.
Question.
Thank you.
Commissioner Purdy.
Yes, how many extensions you had already?
I'm sorry, we haven't had any. This is the first application for the board. We had our original approval before zoning, and then zoning has changed. So now we're before this board for the first time on this design.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Trafficante, floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Grant.
Good evening, sir.
Do you have a copy of the Department of Engineers report to the Planning Board dated September 16, 2025?
Yes, that's the report that I was referencing in my response.
All right. I may have missed it. Please forgive me, but I believe on page 3, under item 2, survey plan, Roman numeral 14, item 2, survey plan, Roman numeral 14. Applicant shall provide testimony to the board as to the disposition of the existing building that encroaches into the subject property from the adjoining lots located to the west, and what impact the proposed development will have on it. Can you address that?
The existing building will remain. The proposed development will have no impact on it.
None whatsoever? Nothing?
No.
Building to remain? Is there any known easements within the subject lot for that building encroachment?
None shown on the survey.
Yeah, so.
And Mr. Trafficante, I can note for the record, the owner of this property is also the owner of the adjoining property, so we can certainly work to provide the city with any documents.
All right. Should property ever get sold off at some point in time,
We understand, yeah.
So, all right. Otherwise, and the existing easement shown along the east property line of lot 31, that's to remain and be formalized.
Yes,
And likewise, the chain link fence that crosses over a shared property line with lot 31 and lot 35 and neighboring lots to the north. Portion of the fence that encroaches into property shall be removed. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. All right. Otherwise, and just I'm recapping. Regarding lighting, you can comply with meeting the minimum lighting requirements and not exceeding the maximum at the common property lines. Is that fair to say?
yes.
Okay. Are there any items? Let me put it this way. Are there any items in the engineer's report to the board dated September 16th that you cannot comply with?
No,
So you can comply with all remaining comments, fair to say?
yes.
Okay. No further comment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Next witness.
Before I call our planner, I just want to note for the record that to answer your question, Chairman, the laundry room will not be an additional fee to the tenants.
Excellent.
Thank you. Mr. McDonough is our next witness.
Good evening, Mr. McDonough. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Once again, please state your name and affiliation to this application.
My name is John McDonough, and my affiliation is Project Planner.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. McDonough, you've had an opportunity to review the application, the plans, and hear the testimony this evening, correct?
Yes, I have.
And in connection to the relief that's being requested, in addition to the site plan, the variance relief that's being requested, can you please provide your overview and the justification for the variance relief that's being asked for?
Sure thing. I think Mr. Roman and Mr. Branch have given the board a good credit as to the practical side of this application and how this is a good infill of a vacant lot that's compatible with the surrounding land uses. The relief list, as spelled out on Ms. Gould's report, page 9 of 14, was short from the start and has gotten even shorter, as you've heard from Mr. Roman's testimony. Variance number 5 and 6 for the ground floor height and for the fencing have both been eliminated. So where that leads us now is with excessive side yard setback, where 0 is the maximum allowed, 10 and 6.7 are what's proposed. Again, that's to provide that nice green space that Mr. Roma showed you in his testimony. And then likewise, we have relief for insufficient rear yard setback, where 0 is proposed and 20 feet is what's required. Minimum. And you can see here from an exhibit, which Jen, I guess we'll mark A1 for the record.
A1, please. Yes.
Okay. And A1 for the record is going to be a 4-part exhibit, just showing the subject lot is a vacant lot, which this applicant is ready, willing, and able to invest in and put back to productive use. The rear yard setback would run along the common lot line with lot number 37. You can see that this is actually going to match the building on lot number 36, which is adjacent. And it's not too far off on the building on the right on lot 28. And then, of course, we've got a parking lot that backs up as well. So minimal, if any, impact associated with that rear yard setback. Likewise, we have interim relief for the overall building coverage, where 89% is what's proposed and 80 is the maximum permitted. Likewise, the overall lot coverage, we've got 95% being proposed, where 85% is the maximum allowed. On balancing, this application lands squarely on the positive side, where the public benefit of repurposing vacant land, providing needed housing, promotion of a desirable visual environment, and the efficient use of previously developed land all outweigh any impacts associated with those 4 relatively minor variances that the applicant is asking the board to move on. We are here in the C2 zone. This application substantially complies with the C2 requirements in terms of use, in terms of density, in terms of height. So all said, this is an application that substantially respects the C2 zoning, and the relief is perfectly appropriate and reasonable here, and certainly meets the statutory criteria under the C2 balancing test as a better zoning alternative for the property. With that, based on all of the testimony of Mr. Roma and Mr. Grant, I believe this applicant has met its burden under the law and approval is warranted.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none, does that conclude your presentation?
Correct. I have no additional witnesses, Mr. Chairman.
Madam Secretary, are there any questions or comments from the public?
No, there are no raised hands.
Okay, in that case, I need a motion.
Motion to approve this application.
Moved by Co-Chair Richards, second by Commissioner Purdy. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Member Jordan,
Yes.
Member Purdy,
Yes.
Member Bias,
Yes.
Member Timmons,
Yes.
Member Da Silva,
Yes.
Member Scott Roundtree, Member Austin,
Yes.
Co-Chair Witcher,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, your application has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's move to CPB 25-44, which is 5-7 South 7th Street. Ms. Perez.
One moment. Let me just switch screens. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hold on. And our professionals in this instance, if we can have them, please move. It is Dave Robinson, Adnan Khan, and Mr. McDonough stays with us. All right.
Okay, the time is now 8:02 p.m. The next item on tonight's agenda is CPB 25-44, located at 5-7 South 7th Street, block 1854, lot 13 in the West Ward. The applicant is South 7th Street Management LLC. The attorney for this application is Ms. Jennifer Carrillo Perez. In the C2 zone, the applicant proposes the development of a new mixed-use multifamily building with ground floor retail/commercial space, parking, and 50 residential units above. Applicant is seeking 3C variances for insufficient rear yard, exceeding maximum impervious lot coverage, and exceeding maximum lot coverage by building. Site plan approval is required.
Thank you. Good evening. Jennifer Carrillo Perez for the record on behalf of South 7th Street Management LLC, who's the applicant for this 5-7 South 7th Street project. As noted by the board secretary, it's located within the C2 commercial community zone and is currently developed with a 2-family building and associated structures. The applicant does propose a demolition of that existing structure to construct a new 8-story mixed-use building on the property. It will consist of ground floor retail commercial space with 50 residential units that are comprised of studios and 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. 20% of those units will be set aside as affordable, consistent with the inclusionary zoning ordinances. And as well, there will also be 2 parking spaces, and you will hear one of them is handicapped with the other van accessible, and you'll hear our professionals provide testimony with that. As indicated as well, that there is 3C variances that were identified as part of this: insufficient rear yard setback, maximum lot coverage, maximum impervious coverage, and your board planner in their report also identified 2 variances as it relates to insufficiency of ground level transparency and illumination levels. And we will note for the record that the applicant will comply with that city ordinance, thereby eliminating that variance. 3 design waivers were also identified as it relates to loading space, the parking space dimension, I apologize, and the driveway width. This application, similar to, I believe, the prior, is an 8-story building which requires satisfaction of conditional use standards under the C2 zone, which require the green roof equal to 60% or greater, and the outdoor amenity space, which is the 100 square foot per dwelling unit. And as you will hear during the course of the testimony, the project does satisfy those standards. Therefore, this board does have jurisdiction to proceed. A notice of affidavit was given to your board secretary, allowed this board to proceed with jurisdiction to hear this evening. And we have 3 witnesses. We have Mr. Dave Robinson from SUAD architectural firm, Mr. Adnan Khan, our project engineer from AWZ Engineering, and Mr. McDonough will be providing planning testimony. We have received 3 reports, just acknowledging for the record, an engineering report dated September 15th, 2025, planner's report dated September 12th, 2025, and a report from the Department of Water and Sewer dated September 16th. So with that, I'd like to have Mr. Robinson, our project architect, be sworn in, please, as our first witness.
Good evening, Mr. Robinson. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
My name's Dave Robinson. I'm a partner at Seward Architects here in downtown Newark. I am the architect responsible for this application.
And Mr. Robinson, for qualification purposes, can you just please provide the board with the benefit of your educational background?
Bachelor of Architecture, been practicing architecture for over 25 years. Testified in front of this board and many other boards. My license is currently active and satisfactory to the Board of Architects, New Jersey.
Thank you. I'd like to submit Mr. Robinson.
And what school did you go to? I didn't catch that.
NJIT.
NJIT.
School of Architecture, New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen here.
Please.
Thank you so much, board members, Mr. Chairman. Really excited to be part of this team and working on this exciting project on South 7th Street. Let me just make sure everyone can see my screen here. Let me move things over. So here we have a site. I'll just basically go over the uses. You'll hear testimony about the site plan from our civil engineering partner. But basically, ground floor commercial space, building common areas, refuse and recycling. There will be some parking on the ground floor space. The civil engineer will get into that requirement. We have bicycle storage here, and we have one apartment in the back area. The green area that's noted is the open air amenity space. That's inclusive and required as part of the conditional use of the building. So we'll get into those calculations as we get through the building. We'll see other areas, but basically on the ground floor, we have an outdoor space with trees, an apartment that overlooks that area. It could be a building manager. And then we have an area that's covered by the building, but it's still open air out to the outside. So there could be tables and chairs for inclement weather. You could still be outside. There's a very small basement, shown on the left-hand side. It's about 2,000 square feet. It's all building management access areas, metering systems, the connections for the utilities, and there's a stairway to get down there. There's no elevator access, and no residents are allowed down here. So the building management has full access to this area.
And so just Mr. Robinson, I believe there was a question with respect to access to that meter and electric utility room. It's simply for the building management, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
The building lobby, going back to the building lobby, we have one elevator service, egress stairs. We have a mailbox area with lockers for packages, and then a bicycle storage in the back. And then the building recycling and refuse through a chute throughout the building is managed right here by building management. And it'll be taken out by building management.
Sorry, you had indicated there was bicycle storage. I apologize. On the front floor, do you know how many spaces for parking for the bikes?
Yeah, we're showing there's at least 6 spaces here, so for bicycle storage. Great. And then the civil engineer will talk about that as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Going up to the second floor. The second floor is unique because it has larger green area spaces for the individual apartments. Every apartment has access to their own private balcony. The darker green areas are just areas that are like a green roof, and it only happens on the second floor and on the top floor of the building. The lighter green spaces are private amenity spaces. The apartments are 7 apartments per floor going from front to back. There is a 2-bedroom with a primary bedroom and a standard bedroom. Both have access to private areas, a handicap accessible bathroom, and an open kitchen. All units have access to their own laundry facility, a stackable washer and dryer in every unit. You come out in the hallway, common hallway, the trash chute is right accessible in the hallway. We have 2 studio apartments in the middle, which also have private balcony spaces. The apartment to the lower right is a 1-bedroom with also some private access to their own balcony spaces. In the back, we have a 1-bedroom unit. And then there's the 2-bedroom unit in the back with another 1-bedroom here. So that's the total of the 7 units per floor. Now, let me move this screen here. Oops. Bear with me. Oops. So the floors, I can't move this box here. Hold on, bear with me. Okay. The reason we label the next floor 3, 5, and 7 is because they're the floors without the utility mops, which are required by building code. So in the back, in the common hallway, you'll see utility sinks, slop sinks in the hallway. They are required. So basically, it's the same layout as the second floor, but it doesn't have the dark green roof area green spaces. But it still has exact same amount of private amenity space terraces, with the exception of the one in the front is about half the size. And then the areas with the X's are open to below. So you'll see with the rendering, there's an open frame system on front, which allows a lot of air and natural ventilation and light to go inside the building. And you can see the larger green space on the second floor, and then the green roof on the second floor as well. The other spaces it's an open frame with glazing and balconies.
If I can, I'm going to just mark for the record, A1, I'm going to mark your plans just so that we can submit them to the board with respect to the green highlighted space. So Mr. Chairman, so marked, and I will provide it to the board secretary. And then A2, which is the rendering that Mr. Robinson was just walking the board through.
Okay. So then going up into the building, again, the floors repeat. On the left, 4, 6, and 8 are just the same floor with the same amount of private amenity outdoor spaces as the floors below, but just does not have the slop sinks in the hallway. We could skip floors for those. And then the top floor is there's a combination of things happening here. We have an indoor amenity space, which I could zoom in here a little bit. Which is around 350 square feet. And then we have a 1,052 square feet outdoor amenity space surrounded by a low wall, fencing type material. Also up here, to conform to the conditional use approval, we have green roof panels that cover, the percentage that's required of the available roof space. We have solar panels, which are also part of the conditional use approval on the roof, and we have mechanical equipment and roof walking pavers for servicing of the units and servicing of the green roof area. Residents are really restricted to the contained outdoor amenity space, and building management only has access to the green roof and to the mechanical units, the solar panels, and such. There is an elevator access to this floor, as well as one stair. And then we have some examples here of, what these roof panels look like. They're simply, a grid pattern of pieces that have integrated drainage and use native species that can survive in the extreme temperatures that we have on roofs here in this region. I think plant types number 7 are the ones the best for this area here. So this would be exactly the type of plantings that will be on the roof here. And here are the sample of the trays that will be on the roof, and it'll be all integrated to the roofing system. Okay.
Mr. Robinson, just quickly going back to the mechanical HVAC equipment you just referenced on top of the panels, all of that will be screened in, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the elevations, we have a combination of different materials. Let me see if I can zoom in here just to get a quick look of the basics. We have, fiber cement panels, which is color 1, and a highlight panel color 2. I'll show you in the rendering where those actually are. We have a brick veneer finishes. We have metal corrugated panels, and we have clear balcony railings. Let me see, I could just go down to the next sheet here. Oops. Yeah, so for example, the accent number 2, the brown would be this area right here on the front facade. And these are punched openings with the private terraces for each apartment. And this is the one larger terrace on the second floor. Color 1 would be the primary element of all of the column structures and the beams and the open framing system. The brick is internal to some spaces where you'll see a combination of a nice combination of changing textures. And then the metal panels are highlighted here on the corner. And here you see the clear glazed balconies. We have more of the paneling systems and such. And then, hopefully we get a nice glimpse of the roof, with some greenery, if we can get some adult trees and potted plants up there. We'd love to do that. This rendering also shows some of the existing fabric. There's a auto servicing station to the right, and to the left there are some industrial uses for auto repair and storage. You'll see testimony from the professional planner who will show you more of the context of the neighborhood. Let's see here. Where am I? The back. This one is here. That's here. So and that's generally what the finished materials of the building look like. We did meet briefly with the planning consultant and went over some of the clarifications that they had. We felt that we met all of the questions that were requested in the planner's report to us. And we are, hereby submitting these exhibits in response to that meeting and this presentation this evening.
Right. Mr. Robinson, I have a couple follow-up questions just for clarification that was noted in the planner's report. The applicant was asked to just provide a little bit more testimony regarding that textured gray area around the balconies and the exterior walls of the units. Can you just confirm that's the metal corrugated panels that you were just discussing? Is that correct?
That is.
Okay. And then testimony regarding the transparency levels, as it relates specifically to the facade and the ground levels. Do you have those percentages, and can you speak to that, please?
Yes, they're on the first page.
Mm-hmm. By the city, just while you pull that up, the requirement is 60%. That is what the city ordinance is, and I believe the project is based on your plans as submitted are 51.4%. Is that correct?
No, our front facade, is 40%.
40%, sorry.
Right. Those are the upper floors. The sides are at 30, which are in excess of the requirement.
Great. Okay.
I can go back. We added the signage
I was getting there, yes.
on the front page, on the front facade here.
Okay. So what is required for the primary facade was 60%, and we're at 40%, and that's the one variance, correct, that we were discussing on transparency?
Yes, and you can see most of the ground floor is transparent. Everything here is glass. We have clear glass for the retail storefront. We have clear glass for the entrance to the residence, and then the garage door, and then the convenience exiting only door are glass, but they are translucent. There's a film on this glass, so all you see is the light coming out. At night, you don't see into the space, especially at night. It's privacy.
And you had just on signage, I see there, regarding the signage for the residential and commercial areas, I see that if there's small identifiers. Can we represent that we will comply, that all of the signage will comply with the city ordinances?
Yes, it will.
Okay, perfect. And the last question, I think you've touched upon it with respect to the conditional use standards and the green roof standards, by just confirming those percentages with respect to the amounts that were required.
Yes. So the outdoor, so we need 5,000 square feet based on 50 units, 100 square foot per dwelling unit. The outdoor amenity space, we have 2,571, or just over 50%. And then the outdoor amenity space in private areas, the private balconies for each unit, is also 66% above the 50%, 3,313. So we exceed the requirement.
Great. Thank you. And the last point of clarification is we're looking at 50 residential units, 14 of them are studios, 22 one-bedrooms, and 14 two-bedrooms based on the plans in the presentation, correct?
That is correct.
Good. All right, thank you. I have no additional questions for Mr. Robinson.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, board, any questions or comments? Hearing none. Wait a minute, where is it? Where is it? Mr. Baez.
So, yeah, thank you. Everything looks very nice though, but for the last two applications, I see two buildings. There's always 1 and 2 bedroom apartment in the studio. Why I haven't seen ones with at least 3 bedroom apartment? I believe we got a big family that at least 3 bedroom apartment. And none of those last 2 applications, I see 1 3 bedroom apartment. I just curious.
Jennifer, you want to handle
Oh,
that?
yeah, I will first at the outset, each application is to be reviewed within the context of that application and not compared to the applications that are prior. So that I'll just note for the record. Also, the city doesn't have an ordinance with respect to the number of units, the unit types that a project should have. We're guided by the ordinance with respect to density, and this application complies with those requirements.
You know, if the city is to comply with that, but I believe that there's family here that we have to look into that. It's a lot of big family. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. That's
I'm gonna respect you.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions, comments? Hearing none. Next witness.
I believe Ms. Gruhl, your planner, has her hand up. Mr. Chairman,
yes,
I'm sorry, I see her hand up.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to confirm that we will comply with many of our comments that we have regarding inconsistencies with some of the architectural plans. And I might as well ask for the engineering plans as well, because they're mixed and matched, so I don't have to ask again.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, we will.
Okay, and that's great. And then one of our comments was about the bedrooms and the bathrooms and no interior connection to the rest of the unit. That was under number 7B.
Correct.
Are we reading
that was
those
just a typo. That was a
Oh, it's a typo. Okay.
Yeah. So that's been clarified. You'll see that on the new plans too.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Next witness.
Thank you. Mr. Adnan Khan.
Good evening, Mr. Khan. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and affiliation to this application.
Adnan Khan, AWZ Engineering. I'm the project engineer for the project.
Your license current, sir?
Yes, it is.
You're accepted by the board. Please continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Khan, your office prepared the plans for this application, correct?
Correct.
Can you please walk the board through the proposed site plan improvements for this application?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. I'm just sharing the plans. I believe you can look at it. I believe you can see it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the sheet 2 of our plan set, which is basically the existing conditions and demolition plan. As you heard, that there is an existing 2-family residential dwelling on the property, which will be demolished and will be removed to accommodate the new project. Again, every improvement or all the improvements that are currently on the property will be removed. There are some comments regarding the displacement of some of the, or explanation for some of the walls that are around the property lines. So I will just go through, carefully on that. So on the north side, there is an existing wall and a PVC fence and a wood fence combination. that section of the wall will be removed. We have a wall along the southern property line, along lot 26 and lot 15. That is not on our property, and that will remain. The same thing, there is a wall towards the front on the southern property line, it's not a retaining wall, it's just a separation wall from our lot to the adjacent lot, and this wall will be removed as part of the proposed improvements. Similarly, to the north side, the wall that exists or the building which is just abuts our property line is going to remain, and it's not going to impact any proposed construction on the lot. Okay, moving forward.
Thank you.
All right. As you heard about the project, again, it's a mixed-use project with the the retail component on the ground floor and residential apartments on the above floors. For the ground floor, we are proposing a small parking area, even though this project is located in C2 zone, which doesn't require any parking or for the cars for this project. However, we are proposing 2 parking spaces. Originally, when these plans were submitted to the board, and subsequent to that, we did receive a review report from Mr. Traficante's office. And what we are planning to, which is not reflected here on these plans, but what we are planning to address those comments is that we're going to convert one parking, which is labeled as number 1, into a handicap parking space, and where the number 2 parking space is, we're going to turn into the accessible aisle for the handicap space. So we instead of 2 parking spaces, we'll be providing 1 space, which will be a handicap parking space and van accessible. That will also eliminate the parking space width requirement waiver that applicant is seeking, because the accessible aisle will comply with the requirements of ADA as well as the ADA parking space. So that's something that the applicant will revise, and instead of 2 parking spaces, it will be 1 van accessible handicap space.
So we are removing that waiver, correct, Mr. Khan?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
So access to the property is from the South Street. There will be a 12-foot wide driveway that will basically be used for ingress and egress of that handicap parking space. And we have enough circulation area. The outline that I'm trying to trace here is all the parking or paved area. So this whole area will basically be just utilized for one park, as I mentioned, as handicap space, and we have plenty of room, and we have a circulation plan that depicts the easily maneuvering of the cars turning around within this area and going out. So it's a very low intensity parking utilization for this parking space. So in my professional opinion, I think that 12 feet will be more than sufficient for the use of the parking. As you've heard in the testimony, we are providing 1 shade tree as required. So we are complying with the shade tree requirement, which will be again on the 7th Street in front of the retail store. We are also complying with the tree requirement, on-site tree requirement. We are proposing 4 trees, 3 evergreens and 1 deciduous tree, maple tree in the back open green area. So we are complying with the tree requirement, both on-site and off-site tree requirement. I don't think it's shown here, but all right, let's go to our next plan, which is our grading plan.
Thanks.
Let's see.
It's not loaded yet, Mr. Khan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I don't know why it's not loading, but I can talk about the grading from the site plan. So the site slopes from the rear, the high point is to the rear, and then it slopes down towards the front on South Street. There is approximately 5.5 feet difference from the rear to the front. And I believe there was a comment made by Mr. Traficante's office about the grading, how we are proposing the grading. So the way the drive area is, it is all going to be level with slight slope that we require for the drainage. And the wall of the building, which is going to be here, is going to act as the barrier for the break in the grades there. So the area in the back will be level with, again, as I mentioned, slight slope for drainage runoff, and the parking area and the driveway and the parking spaces will be a flat surface. It's not going to slope down. And that's how we graded the site. Then there was one typo, which I believe on our plans, and I think that is referenced in Ms. Gould's report about the representation of 2 bike parking areas. Actually, we are proposing 1 bike parking area in the building, inside the building, which can accommodate up to 10 bikes. The other one that is shown on our grading plan along by the driveway right here was supposed to be frozen or should be deleted from that plan. So it was depicted by mistake. So that will be taken out. But to clarify, we're only proposing 1 bike area to accommodate up to 10 bicycle parking spaces. Okay, as far as the landscaping and lighting, I talked about the landscaping that we are proposing. We are meeting the requirements, both on-site and off-site tree requirement. As far as the lighting, we are complying with the lighting, with the exception of one design waiver that is being identified, is that we are exceeding the light illumination by 2-foot candles by the entrance of the parking area, or by the entrance of the parking garage, I would say. And that's something we can meet, and we can comply with that requirement. We can reduce that illumination level, and that waiver will be eliminated as well.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we are also proposing, again, we are exceeding with the lot coverage slightly and with the building coverage, but we are mitigating that increase in the coverages by providing a detention system, underground pipe detention system, which will be at a basement level, which will be like between the basement and first floor level towards the back. And it's going to meet the requirements, the city requirements for the runoff control, as well as the storage requirements. As well as we are proposing all new utilities for this project. We did got the utility report. We don't have any problems complying with those utility comments. And again, this project will generate more than 8,000 gallons per day sewer demand. So it will need a DEP TWA permit from DEP, and that applicant will, if this project gets approved, will apply and acquire the TWA permit.
Thank you.
And again, we did look at the Mr. Traficante's report, all of the comments. I looked at it. We don't have any issues, and we can comply with all the comments.
Thank you. And just for clarification, we have not identified an operator for the potential retail commercial space. Therefore, we couldn't provide any testimony with respect to frequency and deliveries of any of that sort. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And with respect to the on-site, just identifying whether the property is located in a flood hazard area, have you been able to confirm whether or not it is?
It is not.
Okay.
We did confirm, and we actually have a note on our sheet 1 to that effect, that the property is not located within the flood hazard area. So we have a note already stating that.
Perfect. And just a point of clarification for the record, just to reiterate, the project originally proposed 2 parking spaces. That has been modified. It will now provide 1 handicap space and 1 accessible aisle, and thereby eliminating that one waiver with respect to the minimum parking space dimension. Correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And we will satisfy the requirements with respect to lighting, and we satisfy that with respect to landscaping. Correct?
That is correct.
And I think Mr. David Robinson provided some testimony and confirmation. There will be roof-mounted mechanical equipment that will be screened. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, great. I have no additional questions. You've noted for the record that you have reviewed the reports, both engineering, water, sewer, as well as the report from the planner, and we will work to address those revisions, comments, and satisfy those conditions that are noted therein, less what we just noted on the record as exceptions. Correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. I have no additional questions. Mr. Chair, I have no questions for, oh, I see Mr. Trafficant.
Man, I was having a hard time hitting my microphone. It wouldn't come back on. Sorry about that. Commissioners, any questions or comments for this witness?
Wait, questions? If I may?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mr. Khan,
Yes,
just to
sir.
clarify, you did, I do believe you provided testimony, but you went through it pretty fast. If you could, please clarify. Do you have a copy of the Department of Engineers report to the Planning Board dated September 15th, 2025 in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I believe under item 2, survey, on page 3, Roman numeral 15. Survey shows an existing fence and CB block wall that crosses the common property line between subject lot 13 and adjoining lot 6 located to the north-northeast. The applicant shall provide testimony to the board as to who this existing fence and block wall belong to, what impact proposed development will have on this existing fence and CB block wall and the adjoining lot to the east, and what will be the future disposition of this existing fence and block wall. Will they remain, be removed, or be removed and placed within the subject lot that it belongs to? Should the fence and block wall remain where and as is, applicant shall provide further testimony to the board regarding what easements exist between the current owner of lot 13, block 1854, and the property owner of adjoining lot 6 to allow this fence and block wall to remain where and as is. If no easements exist, Engineering Department recommends to the board the applicant be required to obtain an easement from the adjoining property owner as a condition of approval, should this fence and block wall belong to them. Can you please clarify and address that for the record?
Yeah, sure. That block wall and the fence belongs to the adjacent property. It's not on our property. And so I believe it's going to remain and it's not going to affect our proposed project. It's not encroaching on our lot. So it's just at the property line, maybe and half an inch or an inch away. So it's not an encroachment on anybody's properties. And as far as the easements, I'm not aware of any easements, again, since it's not encroaching onto our lot.
Well, the survey shows that even though maybe a couple inches, it does note an encroaching being slightly over. Is there any plans to provide an easement to the adjoining property owner?
Looking at the survey, it says 0.2 feet north. But again, we can look into it. If an easement is required, definitely the applicant will comply with that.
Well, that's between you and the adjoining property owner.
Correct.
Yes, yes.
So, but for the record, for the record. All right. Next question. Again, same page. Item 2, survey, Roman numeral 16. Survey shows an existing fence and concrete wall that crosses over the common side yard property line between subject lot 13, block 1854, and adjoining lot 26 located to the south. Applicant shall provide testimony to the board as to who this existing fence and concrete wall belong to, what impact proposed development will have on this existing fence and concrete wall and the adjoining lot to the south, and what will be the future disposition of this existing fence and concrete wall. Will it remain, be removed, or be removed and replaced within the subject lot that it belongs to? Should the fence and wall remain where and as is, applicant shall provide further testimony to the board regarding what easements exist between the current property owner of lot 13 and the property owner of adjoining lot 26, block 1854, to allow this fence and wall to remain where and as is. No easements exist. Again, the engineering department recommends to the board the applicant required to obtain an easement from the adjoining property owners as a condition of approval, should this fence and wall belong to them. Can you provide testimony to that, please?
Sure. Again, it's the same situation like the fence and the wall on the other side. This wall and fence is again on lot 26, and it touches the property line towards the western corner where it meets the property line. But again, it's not encroaching on our property. So again, there is no easement as far as I understand, and as shown on the survey. And again, as I mentioned, like this is on all of this whole wall and the fence is on lot 26.
All right. Well, would your client be willing, as a recommended condition of approval, have the survey clarified to clearly identify whether or not this fence and wall is clear of the common property line? And if
Sure,
it's
absolutely.
not, and if it's not, if it does encroach, even though it may be 0.2 of a foot, all right, what will be done? Should that wall encroach and fence, will it be relocated?
Yeah, it can be relocated, but that area that is close to our property is our open area, the green space area. So it's not going to affect the project overall.
All right. So does that mean your client will be willing to grant an easement for the encroachment to the adjoining property owner should it belong to them? The adjoining
Yeah,
property?
if the further investigation reveals that we need some kind of an easement, the applicant doesn't have any issue working with the neighbor.
With the neighbor, all right. All right, and at this time, you don't know of any known tenants for the retail space, the 391 square feet of retail space on the ground floor? That's still
Correct.
unknown, correct, right? All right, and you will agree to comply with lighting, meeting the minimums required, okay? And as far as maximums, at the neighboring property lines with the neighboring lots, you will not exceed the allowable maximum with common property lines with adjoining lots?
Yes, we will comply.
All right. And as far as the testimony you gave about exceeding the maximum in the front, even though it's in the public right of way, which is all well and good, should it create a nuisance, a glare for adjoining property owners across the street? Is that something your client would be willing to fix or address, either with shields or hoods or something to prevent spillage?
Yeah, we can do that. Only thing I know, like it's better to have a little bit more light than less light. I think we are
Yeah.
exceeding by slightly. If the board is okay with that, then we are okay with it.
All right, well, understood, but keep in mind, what you consider a little excessive could be considered a lot to somebody across the street, especially if your light spills into their bedroom.
No, again, we can work. Yeah, we will work with the city, and the board, whatever their wish is. If it need us to reduce the illumination, we can work. If it becomes a nuisance at some point, we can work later with the city
Well,
to comply
How
with
about
that.
as a condition of approval, within 12 months of you getting your client getting the final CO for the last unit in this 50 residential unit apartment, within 12 months, any complaints from adjoining property owners will be addressed by your client, the property owner, to the satisfaction of the adjoining property owner and or their tenants. Is that something your client would be acceptable to?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there will be any issue with that.
All right. All right. And last question. All right. It's my understanding you can comply with all the comments in the engineer's report to the board, except for item 4, Roman numeral 15. You're still requesting a design waiver for a 12-foot wide driveway. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And that's because you're only going to have one parking space now for handicap accessible.
That is correct. Oh, and it's handicap accessible, so it's not something that will be used as a regular space. So it will be very, very low traveled or parked space.
Would your client be willing, as a condition, provide alarms, audio and visual alarms at that garage door when somebody pulls out? So
Yes,
that
we can do
pedestrian
that.
foot traffic is made aware of oncoming traffic coming out of the building?
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Whether they're blind or deaf, that's why I asked for an audio and a visual alarm.
Yes.
Okay. All right. No further questions. Thank you.
No, thank you. Commissioners, any other questions? Any questions or comments for the engineer? Hearing none. Next witness.
Mr.
Thank you.
McDonough.
Good evening, Mr. McDonough. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this board shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and your affiliation to this application.
My name is John McDonough, and my affiliation is project planner.
Thank you.
And you're accepted by the board. Please continue, sir.
Thank you. Mr. McDonough, you've reviewed the master plan, redevelopment plan, the zoning for this area. I've reviewed the application documents and heard the testimony this evening. Can you please provide the board with an overview with respect to the relief that's requested and the justification for the variances as well as the site plan that's being sought today?
Sure thing. And once again, we're going to show a little screen share here of what the site looked like today out there. These are a couple of drone shots.
And we will mark this as Exhibit A3.
A3 for the record is just 2 views. One is a head-on. Second view will be from behind. The bottom line is we have a site that clearly has outlived its useful life in terms of a small house surrounded by a neighborhood that is certainly starting to squeeze in on it with all those residential and other uses. This is an opportunity to use up in accordance.
Mr. McDonough, if I can ask you to just slow down a little bit. It's hard to hear you.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Try again.
Is it better now if I hold the microphone
Yes,
there?
please.
Sorry about that. I think I was a little too much. So again, we're here in the C2 zone. The permitted conditional use, this application meets all the conditional use standards, which, as you know, are triggered by usable green space and open space as well. This application complies. So the only that the applicant is asking the board to make here is with respect to both, and it's a relatively short.
You're breaking up. I'm sure your clients aren't paying you enough, and you need to get a better Wi-Fi or better equipment. But we can barely make out what you're saying.
Yeah, it's very choppy.
Jen, do you want me to go out and come back, see if that's better?
Yeah, if you don't mind, or if you can call in and then just use your audio as well. Would that be okay, Mr. Chairman? He keeps his video plus
Sure.
audio.
Just give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
And now we hear him. Great.
Oh, can you? Is this better? Is this
Right now,
better?
yes.
Okay. I think this was coming, my headpiece was coming loose. So, okay. So just by recap, C2 zone district, the community commercial district, permitted conditional use that meets all the conditional use requirements.
No, Mr. McDonough,
no.
it's not working.
It's
Okay.
not working. Try to come back.
Give me 30 seconds.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe you guys are using him too much.
You think his mic is exhausted? I apologize.
Think he's gonna have to charge you guys more so he can get better equipment.
So sorry. Let's see if he can log in. Let's make that on. Mr. McDonough, I apologize, Mr. Chairman. Are you in a position better to try okay, you're gonna call in? Thank you. Madam Secretary?
Yeah, he's an attendee.
Perfect.
Can you all hear me okay? Is this better?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, so again, you can see on the screen here, we're in the C2 zone, we're permitted conditional use. We meet all the conditional use requirements in terms of open space, in terms of green space. 8 stories is what's permitted here. That's what the applicant is proposing, not asking for any relief relative to use, relative to density, relative to building height. The relief that the applicant is asking the board to move on here is relatively minor, given the fact that we have a developed piece of property. And again, it's laid out in Ms. Gruhl's report, page 10 of 14, a variance for insufficient rear yard setback, where a minimum of 25-foot rear yard is required when abutting residential use, whereas 20 feet rear yard is what's proposed. If you look at the visual that I have up on the screen here, you can clearly see that this property is presently developed edge to edge in terms of how it's been cleared. So moving the building to within 20 feet of the rear lot line is certainly not going to have a substantially adverse impact, where 25 feet would be the minimum that's required.
Next, we have relief related to the building coverage and to the lot coverage. Respectively, a maximum of 80% lot coverage by building is permitted, whereby 86.03 is proposed, and then a maximum of 85% impervious coverage on the lot is permitted, whereas 86.79 impervious lot coverage is what's proposed. Again, given the condition of the property, substantially developed, we think that the repurposing of the project of the site substantially outweighs any impact with that relatively minor increase in coverage. And you just heard through Adnan's testimony how that's going to be mitigated with drainage improvements. Relief related to the insufficient facade ground transparency was dealt with on the architectural end. It's a beautiful building, will present a nice face on the street. And then I believe the design exception for insufficient parking space dimension has been eliminated. And you just heard testimony about the justification for the excessive driveway width in the interest of ADA. On the balancing test here, the benefits of the application as a whole would substantially outweigh any detriments. Positive aesthetics, new housing stock to replenish existing housing stock, and of course, efficient use of land as well. This is going to take a site that has clearly outlived its useful life and put it back to good productive use, substantially in conformance with your C2 zoning requirements. So with that said, I would offer that the applicant has met its burden under the C2 balancing test as a better zoning alternative for this site. With that, I'm going to stop share and open up to any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
Commissioners, any questions or comments for Mr. McDonough? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from the public?
Yes, there's one raised hand.
Okay, let's get whoever that is sworn in, and they'll have 3 minutes to speak.
I don't see her. Or him.
Oh, they've been they're on the panel, Mr. Becht.
Mr. Pabon, can you turn your camera on?
Yes, I don't. Yes, hi. Good
Thank
afternoon,
you. Good
everyone.
evening.
Good evening at this point.
Do you
Give me a minute.
solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and your address for the record.
Yes, hi. My name is Gene Pabone. I am actually from Medford, Massachusetts, 108 Sharon Street in Medford, Massachusetts. I'm calling in regards to just a basic question I have for everyone. So I know that this is quite a large building. My family actually owns one of the structures in that photo that Mr. John did show. And I pretty much wanted to ask and see, most likely that is a yes, but will such a massive building being built in that area, will the construction pretty much have an effect on the neighboring area, considering that, you know, a lot of heavy machinery is going to be coming in, a lot of construction is going to be going on? Is there a possibility that the shops right next to them could be affected if, you know, business-wise, or if they have to close for some reasonable amount?
So
And that's addressed to Mr. Khan, Mr. Donna, and Mr. Mr. Robinson.
I can answer.
thank you. Mr. Khan, thank you.
Okay. Yes, I mean, there will be impacts during construction, but again, this is a very normal type of construction. Usually it has to comply and meet all the building code requirements and the safety and security, soil erosion measures and all that. So the applicant has to acquire all those permits and had to comply with all those conditions. And again, as far as the effect to the neighboring retail or neighboring business, again, that is part of this project that the applicant has to make sure that it's not going to affect any of the neighboring properties that are currently in business. And that's, again, as I mentioned, it's a very typical type of construction in the area as well as throughout in the industry.
Okay. And then following up with that too, I know that we were talking about the grading line. Will there be, obviously, like I said, I pretty much have grown in that whole area. I know everyone in that area too. Will there be, I'd imagine, some way of forming will be sooner than later when they reach out about that grading line in terms of forget what it was. It was the concrete line or something that was being talked about pretty much.
I'm not sure what exactly.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just so hard for me to
Yeah.
kind of like bring it up, but it's pretty much, I forget that I even asked the question, but that pretty much answered my question. So I do appreciate it. So, but thank you everyone else for.
No, thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, anybody else wishing to speak?
No, there are no additional.
In that case, I need a motion.
Open the chair.
Moved by Commissioner Baez,
Second.
second by Commissioner Da Silva. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Member Jordan,
Yes.
Member Purdy,
Absent.
Member Baez,
Yes.
Member Timmons, Member Da Silva,
Yes.
Member Scott Roundtree,
Yes.
Member Austin,
Yes.
Co-Chair Witcher,
Present not voting.
Chair Richardson.
Yes, your application has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
you
All right,
very
let's
much.
go back to the top of the order, which is CPB 24-30, which is 854 Clinton Ave. The applicant's available.
Yes.
Good evening. All right, Dominic Iannarella for the applicant, Imperial Car Wash Incorporated.
Yes.
Thank you. I apologize for earlier. I had a situation with my son, so that's why I was late to the meeting. We're appearing before the board just seeking an extension of the previous approval that was granted October 21st of 2023. We're seeking a 2-year extension on that subdivision approval.
So you're asking for another 2-year extension?
Essentially, 2-year extension just to be safe. The real reason for the extension in all candor is that the surveyor that we were using has not, for whatever reason, been able to generate the legal descriptions needed to perfect the subdivision through recording. So we shouldn't need that much time, but we're just playing it on the safe side. For whatever reason, he has not been getting back to my client as quickly as we had hoped. So we're trying to get through that. It appears that we are able to fix it, but we're just coming up on the deadline. So just in an abundance of caution, we're just requesting the extension.
Got it. Commissioners, questions or comments? Hearing none. Are there any questions or comments from the public?
No, there are no raised
In
hands.
that case, I need a motion.
Motion to approve the extension.
Moved by Co-Chair Witcher,
Second.
second by Commissioner Baez. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Member Jordan,
Yes.
Member Baez,
Yes. To extension.
Member Timmons,
Yes.
Member Da Silva,
Yes.
Member Scott Roundtree,
Yes.
Member Austin,
Yes.
Co-Chair Witcher,
Yes.
Chair Richardson.
Yes. Your extension has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you. I'll have a good evening.
You too.
Thank
Madam Secretary, I don't recall seeing minutes. Did you submit minutes?
No.
Okay. That's why I didn't see them.
I didn't have anything, Chair, over the whole week, no.
All right, so Mr. Beck.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This evening, we have 4 resolutions to be memorialized from the September 8th meeting. They are as follows: CPB 24-60, 228-230 Miller Street, CPB 24-74, 738 Mon Prospect, CPB 25-67, 14-16 Jefferson Street, And lastly, CPB 25-53, 359-365 Central Avenue. All those commissioners that voted affirmatively approve these, the applications are permitted to memorialize same unless someone speaks out now.
Thank you, Mr. Vecchia, and I think that concludes our business for this evening. Our next meeting is on October the 6th. And as always, please stay safe out there. Know your surroundings, be careful, and have a great evening.